Okay, hopefully we're back soon. Wait for the announcement. Alright, so put the Ajani in. See if it's working. Huh. Alright, let me know if it's working. Alright, Ajani, I need Ophelia. Definitely working. Thank you so much for letting me know, Hexa. I really appreciate it. Really, really appreciate it. Yeah, I gotta fix this up. Ophelia needs to go in. And I need a Lucky the Pizza Dog. Does anybody know which set the Lucky the Pizza Dog's in? You were just trying to plug ads on YouTube. So fair. No, I still thank you. That's fine. Jumpstart? Okay. Hopefully it's not too expensive. Oh yeah, these were the question marks. Oh, I cannot keep this hand. Alrighty then. Badonk. That one. Kind of wanted both, but, you know, sometimes. C's. This is the second person in a row who's playing Jeskai. Well, they might also be Converge as well, and the other one was Converge as well, so that's, yeah. My poor baby. Land? Yay! All right. Julia needs to get in. Oh, they're already at that kind of mana? Okay. You want to discard some cards and draw lots of them? Yeah. That sucks. Oh well. Okay. Pursue the past. What do we have over here? Okay. Um. Not an ideal use of that, but at least they can't draw more cards, I guess. I don't know. They've got so many more cards in hands. I'm not sure that that's correct, but we'll see. Oh, horrid. Thanks. Padoop. And... Padoop. Couple more card triggers. No! Alright, well, I get to kill the Tide Caller at least. But that's brutal. Hmm. How did it get processed? Was it from these, I think, right? Hmm. I have 5 cards left. Could have played stock up so at least I could attack with both of those. That might have been better. But I only have 5 cards left. I'm a little worried about this one. Oh well. Then I have 3 left. I don't know. Yeah. Dawning Archaic. There are 2 cards left. I don't think I can do... I think I just mill myself out. Wait, if I mill this... Play the flashback... Hmm... I don't think I can kill them this turn, and I don't know that I can win next turn, but let's see. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try. I lose the process. Yeah, I'm trying. I think if I can flashback the critique and do the thing, I think I can do it. Ah! No, God. That's the second suspend that they had, right? Yeah, Jesus. And a dual caster. Alright, that's annoying. If I go to exile a card, it's not counting as drawing it, right? One, two, three, four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Which is 8. I still lose. We're gonna go. If they have nothing, which is highly unlikely, we can win. Oh, wait. Oh, no, we can't because the traumatic draws. The traumatic draws. I needed to... No, that wouldn't work because I would only do 1 damage with the what's it? Yeah, because I needed to pump the... I needed to play that to pump the what's it? Damn. All right. It was lovely, but they had the double removal. That's the way it goes. That was fine. All right, so let me pull these cards. Wait, hold on. Did I pull cards before? Is that why that stuff is 1, 2, 3? I'll have to count this deck. But that was really fun. Okay. I need... this for Ophelia. Okay. Okay, Ophelia's in. And then I need to count and see actually how many things I can add. Show me. They're a Converge deck again? Blech. Hold up Disdainful Stroke or play Stock Up? I think we're gonna hold up Disdainful Stroke and or discard this. Not because Channeler won't... I mean, it depends on whether they do stuffs. I really wanted to land, but okay. So I could stock up here. I still think I held up the Disdainful Stroke, but if they kill the Channeler, then I can't do the Disdainful. At the end of my turn. I don't know. We'll see. Come on. Suck. Alright. Thanks, Skywater. Oh, and they have an arc, and now I can't Disdainful Stroke it. That's schmucky. I should probably have made sure that the... How did I tap? No, I played the mountain after this. That's probably... It might have just been better to do it the other way. Okay, so they have an Arc of Hunger, so what are we doing? Hmm. I guess we forced them to deal with this. But yeah, that was really annoying that they killed the thing. I don't know, maybe I should have played the island instead and just let the mountain go. Because they might have the removal. I don't know. They have 2 Arc of fucking Hungers? And I practiced off. Okay, Jesus Christ. This sucks. Okay. Two arcs and a practiced offense. Like, how was I supposed to do anything about this? I don't even fucking know. I just lose the arcs. There's nothing I can do. Like, I could block here with the archaic, but I'm not winning the game, so I'm not winning the game anyway. That is ridiculous. Jesus. Okay, there's no way to gain life. Is there any way to win here? Probably not. I can't gain or do anything. So yeah, we're just gonna go kill. Exile this to do 2. Charge. And concede. Alright. That sucked. It turns out if I had played the island, I could Disdainful Stroke the first arc, and that would probably have been a lot better of a game. But the chances of them spending the mana to kill the 1/3 were so low. And then they did it anyway, so who knows. Alright. So let's continue with the review. Well, I gotta get into another draft first. That's too much fun. Then we'll get into the review. Alright. I'm gonna start counting this deck. Nope. I'm not. Got the lands though first. Got this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If they didn't have the practice offense there, we would have been okay. And if I take Flashback, there's Stock Up and Sonar in the same pack, and I'm putting people... Oh, I'll just hope we can get Lorehold. Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Wait, 34. What? Huh. Alright, so there's a Strife Knight and a Johnny's Response, Snooping Page, Dissection Practice. Kind of just like taking the Snooping Page and switching. Heated Argument. I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna just, not switching, but I'm gonna take the stronger card in the pack and see how this goes. Grapple with Death, Tome Blast, Requisition Raid, and an Ink Mage, and an Emil. Hmm. The Tome Blast is what I'm looking at here, and I think I'm gonna take it. Jeez. Hmm. Wander Off, Render Speechless. Otherwise, like, Pest Brute Sloth, Lorehold Charm. Ugh. Pursue the Past. I could try to start committing to Lorehold and take the Pursue here. Or I can still be a little bit open and take the Wander Off. What do you want to do here, chat? What do you want to do? Do you want to take Pursue or Wander Off? You got 10 seconds. For now, I'm gonna try the Pursue. Okay, and then when we got King Bob on the Pursue too. Okay. Ugh. All right. We're gonna need more, like, creatures in the Lorehold deck, though. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Wait. Oh, we chose wrong. Nah, not really. We can still do this. Just icky. It's like the third Emil. Ink Mage and Strife Knight. I don't know. I'm not sure. Alright, I'm gonna take the Strife Knight and we'll pretend that we're gonna get Lorehold. So it is 34. 34. Okay. I'm sad that I can't take both of these, but alright. That is a pick 8 Sloth. Let's go. We still need other things, but let's go. Yeah, I'll take a Lorecaster. These two blue cards are better. Well, for someone they're decent, but like the Painter, but this is fine. Alright. We need to find some actual, like, yeah, cards for this besides the, like, Relic Sloth, but okay. Guess we take a Requisition Raid. It's not awful if we go decently wide. It also takes care of artifacts and enchantments on opponent's side, so we're gonna probably run it. Uncommon for Vault Progress. Don't want to run this, but maybe I will if I have to. Help! Second pack! This is so sad. Okay, so I'm going to try and wheel this mascot. I'm going to take the primary research because I think it's better than suspend aggression. I'm sad that I can't take this thing. This thing's really fun. And the Snarl song. That's when I went because I could have had some cool stuff with the Snarl song, but we're going to take the primary research, hope to wheel the mascot. What the fuck? I could splash for it, but I think we just take the Stone Docent. That's a second Snarl song. Whenever I have been in Converge, I have had no Snarl songs or one and never two. And whenever I play against it, they have two. Okay. Someone's gonna have the nice Silver Quill that we were hoping for, or like, yeah. Okay. Yeah, but I'm gonna have Antiquities pick 3. Damn. Stand Up For Yourself, also really good, and we would love that Rubble Rouser, but this is a really nice pickup. We'll take an Impractical Joke over the Shattered Acolyte, hop to it. Hop to it is decent with this Requisition Raid because it is mass pump, but I think we want this removal early. Scrollsmith is a huge pickup here, but I'm passing Rubble Rouser and Elite and a second primary, which is kind of sad. All right, but Scrollsmith is wonderful. I can't actually complain about getting that. It's just I want more in that pack. All right, we'll take an Abrade here. I need the 2-drops. I need the mascots. I need the Kirils. I need blah. But that Antiquities was huge. Good day, Black Panther! Alright. Any other sleeves here? No. Good. Okay. Check it. Yeah, it's been really lovely. This pack. I mean, obviously, it was kind of sad to pass 2 of those rares, but... Dust Speaker's good here. Bulk Up is fine. I don't... Bulk Up can be very good with the Trample here, but usually it's not, like, crazy otherwise. It does... I think we take the first Dust Speaker. There were more floating around, but I kind of need this... Yeah, Marvel. So we have the early access on the 17th on Wednesday, literally tomorrow at, wait, no, what is today? Yeah, tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern. So find your favorite streamers. I may not be on right away, but I'll be on later, but find your favorite streamers then. Yeah, that's early access. Damn it. This whole pack, the Silver Quill was better. We had good stuff, but the Silver Quill would have been better because we could have still gotten the Antiquities, but the 2 Grave Researchers and another one of these and a couple of like the mascots and blah. We're going to take the Joined Researchers just as a 2-drop with... oh, it did wheel. Snarl Song also wheeled. Jesus Christ. So yeah, pre-release is the coming weekend. What? I'm pick 10 Snarl Song. That can't be right. Oh my god. All right. Well, yikes. Yeah, we could have had a really good Silver Quill this side as well. I really don't want to run either of those goddamn cards. Suppose if I have to run this, I will. I don't have unconditional removal yet. So... Do I think that I can... So, there's Tome Blast Dual Tactics and another Sloth. Do I think that I can make this work in this deck? I think I do. There might be a way to wield the sloth. It might not work, but I think this card is good enough that we go for it. Put it on 4 with, well, yeah, double white and 2 red, or triple red on 3. I'm taking the chance that the sloth wheels. That could be wrong, but the mascot wheeled last time and we got so much Lorehold late. Somebody may have moved into it because, you know, it was open for a while. Okay, that's a tight call. God damn. All right, there's a Rebel Rouser and a Monstrous Rage here. I think we take the Rebel Rouser. I do really like Monstrous Rage, but I think the Rebel Rouser is more important to the deck right now. Wilt in the Heat and stand up for yourself. Decent blue. There's an arc. I think we take the stand up for yourself over the first Wilt in the Heat. Again, the Wilt might wheel. And stand up for yourself can kill something with 6 toughness, so I think we do that. Streaking! All right. That's awesome. Thank you. But yeah, Marvel is the new set. Marvel Superheroes. All right, so we had 34, 35, 36, 37. That makes sense. Okay. God damn it. Do I have to take a freaking Owlin Historian? Blech. Fine. So those are 37. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, a Cauldron, and I'm not in that. God damn it. I don't think I'm running a Tackle Artist in this or another Rapier Wit, so I'm just gonna rare draft. An Aberta. And a Snarl Song. I could have had 4 Snarl Songs. I hate everything. Alright, I'm taking Monstrous Rage here. That one I will definitely run. How many creatures do I have right now? 13? That's a little low. I could take the Glyph Maid. Nah, what was I Fields of Strife over Fire Dance. Fire Dancer's actually decent in this particular... It's not great, but it's decent. I'm gonna take the mana, though. Okay, Molten Note is fantastic. Can I wield a Sloth? I want more mascots and I want a Kirill. We need a curve, but... Alright, we did wheel a Sloth. Tactics is fine, but I'm gonna grab the Sloth here. Yikes. I really don't want another 5-drop, but I guess we're doing that. The Monstrous Rage is so good, though. I guess we try and... Yeah. Okay, we did wheel the Wilts. Uncommon for Vault Progress. Okay, so I needed 2 drops. That's what I needed, and I didn't really get them in the end. So we're gonna do the best we can with this. We got a lot of good removal, and draw and stuff. I'm not gonna run that, though. That's not as aggressive as I need to be, I'm pretty sure. So we're just gonna put this over here, and this over here, and pretend. Okay. All right, I will deal with that. But I do have to, before my voice goes again, I need to start this. All right. So, for your pre-releases this coming weekend, and for the early access, we are looking at, they're taking a first look at Limited. We're doing commons and uncommons to start with, because that's the most of what you're going to see, in your pre-releases. So we're looking at evaluating these cards, before you see them so that you can sort of figure out what's going on. We are in the middle of the black, and we will go forward from there. But the whole point is to get you a little bit familiar with how I might value these cards in terms of pick order and so on and so forth, and see what synergies they have, see what older cards that resemble their effects, right? Have been in terms of value, and sort of prepare you for your pre-release if we can, as much as possible. Obviously, it's the first look, so I haven't seen these cards, and we don't know how. There's a lot of stuff that trains up based on the speed of the format that you can't really tell quite right away, and the way combat is won in terms of like the differentiation in powers. Do you need, are most two +2/+2 things gonna win combat, or is it +1/+1, or so on and so forth? So that changes things based on the stats, and those are hard to see in the beginning. So, all right, Grim Reaper is where we left off. This is Lethal Legionnaire, 4 mana 3/4. When it attacks, you can pay 4. When you do, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped and attacking with a finality counter on it. So that's pretty crazy. So you get a Zombify on a stick. The creature will be tapped and attacking. And again, finality counter. So this is very powerful. It is not statted that highly because it is this powerful. So it's a 3/4 for 4, which is not great stats in limited these days. go figure. But again, this effect is very, very strong. So it does have to attack to get the value, but that shouldn't be too hard to get back your best card. And there's so many bombs in this format that I feel like it's probably quite worth it. I pretty much feel this is probably a B+ card. I think this is a very good card, uncommon. So I would definitely take it around there. So it is, I don't think it was called. Yes, it is. Okay. So this is something that's a similar concept. When it attacks, you can pay 3. If you do, return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. But this one's for 4 mana, and you can pay 4, and you get a Zombify on a stick attacking. So on the attack. So we've had similar effects before, but this one's so much smaller, so the attack pretty much guaranteed it died. It was just a raised dead for 3 as opposed to an actual Zombify, which is crazy. So again, a little bit of power creep. Oh, just a little bit. So yeah, I do think this card is very good. Hour of Defeat. Destroy target creature, surveil 1 at instant speed. This is good removal. We do want this. This is something, since Oblivion Strike was like the first time we had sort of a 4 mana exile, and it was at sorcery speed. So we started then getting 4 mana destroy at instant speed, and obviously a common, and there's been a ton of like graduating craziness since then. You are going to want these. They are important. These are 4 mana is something to take into account, but it does destroy any target creature, and black generally gets to do that. Sometimes in some sets they have to give you advantage when you're doing that, so because it's a little bit too slow sometimes. So we had Jaya's Fate or something like that. I forget what it was called. Nope, that's gonna be something. But it was 2 and 2 black, and you destroyed a creature and you could gain life if that creature's mana value was like 3 or less. It was actually important because it brought you back if like, because unfortunately if somebody is curving out into like 1, 2, 3, and then you're on the draw, for example, to use on 4 of 4 mana removal on a 3/3 feels pretty bad, and you're actually going down in value. So they are adding Surveil here. I'm not sure Surveil is better than the gain life on that particular thing, but this might be not as fast a set. So I do like that they tacked on Surveil to a 4 mana instant speed destroy target creature. Seems pretty good. Obviously we'd prefer Exile, given that we're seeing a decent amount of recursion here. But yeah, this one's gonna be a B/B plus. You can think of it something along the lines of the 4-mana exile in this set that we had, this Secrets of Strixhaven. It's just going to be something that you want as removal, and you're going to take it pretty highly just because removal is at a premium, and there are some bombs. Hydra Infiltration. Oh, that's Eli again. Great art. 4 mana. When this enchantment enters, target opponent discards 2 cards. Oh, interesting. Oh, that's fascinating. Okay, so it is a Mind Rot for 4, which is not good. But whenever a creature you control attacks alone, target opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Is interesting. We were talking about that because the other times we've seen when you attack alone was with white. And that's bad for white, because white really doesn't want to be attacking alone. It really wants to be paired with something else that's big and attacking alone, because white wants to go wide almost always, whatever combination that's in. But especially Lorehold / Boros. So unfortunately, like, attacking alone is a huge, cost sometimes because you just want to flunge. So I'm not sure that this is going to be good enough to make it work. This is better the slower the format is, because again, the slower the format is, the more likely your opponent is to have cards still in hand and be playing, larger things. Because again, if you're going to play 4 mana and they are out of cards or they have a land in hand, it doesn't affect the board and it's blah. So I don't like this card right now. But again, the slower the format gets, the more it will come up in my estimation. For now, I think it's pretty unplayable. So I mean, unless there's like enchantment synergies that I don't know about yet, which could be the case, then yeah, I'm gonna give it a C. But it could come up to a C plus if like certain conditions are met. Again, this is actually the first enchantment that we've seen that you might do this to. Exile target enchantment with mana value 4 or greater. That's the first one, and it's the least important one to do it to, because oh god, we want so badly. All the enchantment removal that we've seen so far is 3 mana, and so like this is brutally bad. So yeah. Anyway, this would be the first one to do that too. Hydra Troopers is a 3 mana 3/2. Again, not great, but you get to create a 2/1 villain. There's some big enchantments you absolutely want to kill. Don't worry. Okay, good. But like, I also want that card to kill the enchantments that take out my creatures. Anyway, create a 2/1 black villain creature token with menace if there are 2 or more creature cards in your graveyard. Otherwise, mill 2 cards. Okay. This is not bad. It's not hard to make it happen. The problem is you don't want to curve into it on 3 because it's likely that you won't have 2 creature cards in your graveyard. So 3 mana for 5/3 worth of power across 2 bodies is really nice. So if you can get this to work, great. But I think it's going to be a, so you just don't want to curve into it is the problem. So that's a little bit rough. I'm gonna go with probably a C plus on this. I think it is playable, but I think you're not super happy about it. Kingpin's Enforcers, 3 mana 2/3 lifelink. You can pay 2 and a black, sacrifice an artifact or creature to draw a card. Fine. Again, you're pooping out some villain tokens in black, so it's possible that you will be able to, do this, sacrifice an artifact to draw a card. You can also do that if somebody puts the blue enchantment that we saw on one of your creatures. You can still get value out of it by sacrificing it. So this thing, for example. So that is important. The 2/3 lifelink, we'll see how well that stats compared to a lot of the other stuff, and it is irrelevant, of course, creature type, the villain. For now, C plus again. Just playable but not super exciting. Claw Sonic Subjugator, 3 mana 2/2. When it enters, target player reveals a number of cards from their hand equal to 1 plus the number of creature cards in your graveyard. You choose one of them. That player discards that card. This is a good card. Again, you don't necessarily want to curve into it, but it's still okay to curve into it because you got the 1+. You're still going to get a card out of their hand. You're just not going to get selection unless you have stuff in the graveyard. But I think this is pretty good. I like this card. You know, traditionally a 3-mana 2/2 body that hits the thing and takes out a card is very good. So I'm going to go with B/B+ on this one. Tentatively a B, but like that could be much better than I think it is. It's going to be really irritating. I wonder if it's going to be something like the black. Let's see. The Warlock. This one was so good because as they lost life, you just reveal their entire hand and you choose a non-land card from it. So that one was really good. I think that one's slightly better than this, but not too much. But the Menace was also cool too. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a tentatively a B, but it could graduate to a B+. This thing was always a B+. Okay. Madame Mask. 5-mana 3/2. When she enters, she connives. So draw, discard. Filling up the graveyard obviously is decent with the creatures, etc. And +1/+1 counters have some synergies in this. Whenever you draw your second card, oh geez, create a 2/1 black. Okay. There's a lot of draw 2 stuff that we did see in blue, and that's been pretty good. And this is another card that may enable that, so that's worthy of note. Still a 5-mana, potentially 4/3. That gets valued later. I'm gonna give her a B/B-. I think B/B- is probably correct. Yeah, for now. I mean, I think it depends on the red removal. I think. Morning, Lyrazel. Yeah, I mean, Wait, you get the thing immediately. Did I get my cat secret lair? I believe I did. So far, they haven't told me. I mean, the order went through, and it was confirmed. I still am sitting here going, maybe they don't send it to me. I don't know, but I did manage to get one. At least as the order was confirmed. So hopefully they don't run out of stock or anything and just have to like email me and be like, I'm sorry. I'm just terrified of that. I think because she connives immediately, and that will be the second card, you get the 2/1. I actually think this is a B+. The first copy. Again, with legendary creatures, it goes down after each one, but I think this is probably a B+. I really kind of like this card the more I look at it. I think it's best in obviously a draw 2 shell. So I think it's best in black, but it's pretty nice. All right, Masters of Evil, 6-mana 5/6. Other villains get +2/+1. Okay, you can pay 1 on black, discard this card, search your library for a plan card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. Okay, we've seen the black plan already. Wait, we saw the white plan and the hold on. The white plan I wasn't impressed with unless you got it early. It was really bad late. The blue plan was okay, actually. This rewrite history was pretty decent. Have we seen the black plan yet? Let me just double check. I don't think we have. No. Okay. So I'm going to see about the black plan in a second. The mass pump alone, I mean, if we're pooping out lots of tokens like this, the mass pump alone might be good enough to just, I mean, really want at least one copy of this, like one copy in a deck that is a top end. +2/+1 on a lot of creatures with Menace is crazy and can just win the game. I think this might be a B+ card. The first copy. The second copy is absolute ass, I think, for this one. But yeah, but I mean, unless you do the discard, because and then that fills your creature with your graveyard with a creature, which so many things care about the 2 creatures in the graveyard. So maybe 2 are even okay with this one. I think it's a B+. You got called into a briefing when you had 8 minutes? Oh no. I am so sorry. Yeah, I heard a lot of people just, I mean, I don't understand why they don't print this to demand. It makes me so angry. You have like scalpers selling, like Lev Dev was saying that there were scalpers already selling like a single lair for 250. Like, I can't. Wizards is so stupid. Yeah. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. The Wizards is so dumb. I wish they would just like let people give them money and don't piss people off. But yeah, I think this might be the first copy. Might be a B plus. It could go down just because it's a 6-drop. But I do like that you can discard it and fill up the thing. And I have to see the other plans, of course, but I do like the blue plan. Moonstone Harsh Mistress, 4 mana, 2/4 flyer. Whenever you discard a card, you may exile the card from your graveyard. If you do, until the end of your next turn, you may play that card. Okay. Until the end of your next turn. Damn. Okay, so we've got a, what the hell was the, okay, 2/1, from Neo. All right. Containment Construct, that's what it is. It did have Construct in the name. Okay, all right. So whenever you discard, you may exile that card, but you can only play it this turn, which is not as good as this. This is kind of crazy. But what this does mean is that you're being rewarded for conniving. So this isn't really synergizing with like, okay, you want a lot of creatures in your graveyard, but you don't have to cast the creatures. It could be also like an instant or sorcery that you really want to recast. But I think this card is quite good, especially as a build around. I think it's probably a 2/4 flyer blocks a lot of the flyers that we've seen so far, except for the 5-drops that are all like 4/4s. I still think this is probably a B. But I think as a build around, it's really crazy cool. And you just want all the connive, which is pretty sweet. Okay. Ninja of the Hand, 3 mana, Death Touch, 2/2, power up for 5. She's an evil psychologist with gravity powers. An evil psychologist sounds like Harley Quinn. But that's DC. Okay, is it horrible? I am a tiny... Okay, who else is a giant child and read the flavor text and just cackled in their head? Please tell me I'm not alone. Please. Okay, move on. Thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Okay, anyway, yeah, this card, yeah, there's the thing. All right. So reminding everybody, the power up, you don't have to do math. If you want to play the card and power it up the same turn, the total cost is just going to be the power up cost. You think of Transformers instead of air. But yeah, so I don't really like this card. I think it's a C+. It's perfectly playable. It's not exciting at all. Project Deathlock Soldier. 1 mana, 1/2. Return this card from your graveyard to your hand. Okay, so this, but it's an artifact, which is interesting, and we do have ways to sacrifice artifacts, etc. So this card combos a little bit with the Kingpin's Enforcers that we saw to draw cards, right? So it just keeps coming back and keeps blocking. This is always the skeleton that we have. Originally it was regenerate them, but then they came back to the idea of pull them back into the battlefield or pull them back into your hand. So this is basically Sanitarium Skeleton, but it is an artifact, which does matter because you do have artifact synergies. So the fact that it's a 1/2 and not a 1/1 with this skeleton didn't matter as much, but it may matter here. Because, I mean, it can block together with something else. No, it doesn't matter, actually, that I've seen. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, so this is perfectly playable. There are certain decks that are going to want more of them than one. We have to see how many tramplers there are in the green, but we've seen a bunch of flyers in all the colors, which depreciates the value of this. Many of them in an uncommon, so that's not the worst, I guess. But for now, I'm gonna rank this as a C+. It's something that you can put in your deck you're not super excited about unless you need the other stuff. It's not bad with Connive, definitely. Yeah, it's something you can discard. It's something you can sacrifice. But it's more of a working piece of your deck and one that you're not gonna really pick highly to start with. So, Red Room Recruit. 2 mana, 1/2. When it enters, it connives. Okay, I mean, this is the ways that you can get creatures into the graveyard. So it could enter as a 2/3 potentially. But you might get creatures in the graveyard. If you already had the Moonstone in play, then you could cast that card the next turn, which is pretty sweet. So this is good, just enabling thing. It's a perfectly fine card, C+. It's, you play it, but it's not. Okay, here's the plan. Okay. 4 mana, whenever one or more creature cards are put into your graveyard from anywhere, you draw a card, lose a life, and put a plan counter on this. Okay. When the third plan counter is put on this enchantment, sacrifice it and create 3 2/2 colorless robot villain artifact creature tokens on it. I'm gonna give this a B-. I think it's fine. I think it can play. But I think I'm less excited about it than I was the blue plan. I think I actually like the blue plan best still so far. Yeah, I think this is still better. The really good plans are multicolored. Oh, fair. But the fact that we've seen, so if there are really good plans, then this lovely this thing, right? This discard a card, search for a plan card, reveal it, put it in your hand might really graduate in value. We already gave it a B+, at least the first copy, but there might be reason to take multiple of them in that case. Yeah, it definitely can kill you. It's not a May. So that is important. But again, I'm gonna give it a B-. I don't think it does enough to be, something you're gonna highly seek out, but I think you might want one if you're running stuffs. So, Ronin, here we go. Three mana, 3/3, fine ROI, unlimited. That's just fine. I have seen a couple of pieces of equipment so far. Neither of which has been too well, the super suit was meh. I wanted hexproof on that instead. I remember. And then there was a flying thing. Hold on. I gotta find it. This. I liked this. And then there was a +1/+1 sword. Well, it's not a sword, but it's like shield spy kit here. It's effectively a sword in that. That's what we've seen so far. I'm sure we'll see more. Right? Why does Ronin look like an Amonkhet zombie? maybe they took inspiration, Thunderbolt. Speaking of Thunderbolt, Thunderbolt's one of my favorite Marvel movies. It's so much fun. It's so good too. The discussions of mental health is just so good. Anyway, sorry. Okay. I think you can make this work. I think it requires too much work to be super high pick. I think it's going to be a B-. It could even be a C+, but I think it's a B- because there are some equipment so far. Like, if you get to use this once, that's pretty good. But you do lose the equipment value from it, and you have to tap this to do it, and you have to find the equipment first and then equip it to this, and blah. There's so many things that have to go right first, so I'm not going to highly prioritize this card. I think it's a B-, and I think it could even be a C+. But we have to see the rest of the artifacts, of course. All right, Rocks and Brutes. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I actually haven't read this or heard it pronounced. 5 mana, 4/4 menace. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Okay. Basic land cycling too. So this is the basic land cycler for the black. Again, same thing that we said before for all the basic land cyclers. We have to see what the format looks like to evaluate if any are good and whether they're too slow. An evil oil company. Ah. What's new? It's a chest in oil. Yeah. So again, we'll see whether this works. This is another one where draw a second card, payoff. Has menace. We'll see what these do. Again, for now, they put in the C+ category like all the others. Stolen Stark Tech, another equipment. 2 mana flash. That creature gains indestructible +1/+0 and equip 1. But you don't gain indestructible after that first instance. It's really important. Similar to Exxon is not coincidental. There, that does make sense. So again, sometimes it's easy to forget that it's only when it enters that until end of turn it gains indestructible. After that, this is just 2 mana, equip 1 +1/+0. But this is a kind of nice one to be able to combo with the Ronin. But it's, again, not that exciting. We have had something like this in the past that gives indestructible. I think it was in Lost Caverns of Ixalan. So it was black. It was 1 and a black. And it was Lost LCI. And it was common, I believe. Wait. No, maybe not. Was it? It was a different one, huh? Okay, so that's not the set. I'm getting the set wrong. So let's go and let's remove this and then go, yeah, that's a spell, though. There was an equipment that actually did the +1 and indestructible, or at least indestructible. Battle Fan. It was March of the Machines. It was March of the Machines. So if you look at this, this is an actual pure reprint of this. So it's 2 mana flash. When it enters attached to target you control, that creature gains indestructible until end of turn, +1/+0 for equip 1. It's the same damn card. Just reskinned. So yes, sorry, it wasn't LCI. It was March of the Machines. So it was the exact same card, but they just gave it a new name. So again, remember, so this had some uses in that set. It wasn't very good. But in this set, we haven't really seen a lot of exile, so that's good. We haven't really seen we've seen a little bit of bounce, but not much. We've seen destroy rather than exile in the black. We have seen a bunch of enchantment-based removal, which this doesn't help you with. But so far it seems that this is okay enough to run potentially because it's an artifact, and we have artifact synergies, and because we have the occasional equipment-based, like one equipment-based synergy card. It's also something that sacrifices pretty easily. Is there a lore reason it has flash? I mean, it's stolen Stark Tech. Maybe this does, like the Iron Man suit. Maybe it flies to you. I don't freaking know. But yeah. This is a pure reprint of Bladed Battle Fan. So I'm gonna give this a C+. I think it's playable, one copy. I think so far it looks like it is. But you know, again, not super exciting. Swordsman, Sharp Scoundrel, 2 mana 2/2. Whenever another villain you control enters, attach up to one target. Oh, there's another equipment synergy thing. Attach up to one target equipment you control to target creature you control. Whenever a equipped creature you control attacks, it connives. That's powerful on a 2/2. Okay. I don't know if it's the way it's drawn, but it looks like he has one of those French mustache, like Snidely Whiplash mustaches going up. Not necessarily French, just like villain mustaches. But maybe that's just the way the mask is drawn. I don't know. I again, this is just a 2/2 that may get extra value. I need to see the other equipment that matters. So far we've seen a few that are interesting but not crazy. For now, I'm gonna give this a B-. But yeah, we'll see. All right, Too Evil to Stay Dead. 3 mana Teamwork 4. So you can get something with mana value 4 or less for 3 mana, or you have to tap 4 for Teamwork, which we only know one creature that benefits from tapping for Teamwork so far, and that's just Agent Maria Hill. So I mean, and you get, for 1 more mana, you get Zombify anyway, like, normally. So this is not that exciting to me, but, there is a lot of, you know, connive and stuff that puts stuff in the graveyard, so the mana value 4 or less for 3 might just be decent enough. I don't quite know how to value this yet, because we haven't seen other Teamwork synergies, just this one so far. The tapping, hold on, let me go see that blue plan. So 1 or more creatures at the same time, or is it just... yeah, so you can't tap 3 creatures and trigger this all at once. Okay. For the Teamwork. Okay. Hey, Sergeant Salt! I'm tentatively gonna give this a B. Maybe undervaluing or rolling valuing it. We'll see. Unliving Legionnaire. We didn't like undead. We wanted unliving. Okay. It's a vampire villain. 4 mana 3/2 flyer. Power up for 7. Return up to 1 target creature card from your grave. So it's Gravedig and put counters on the thing for 7. Okay. That has uses. It's a C+. It's a perfectly playable card, I think. As like a 22nd through 24th card. Oh, this is a weird one. Looks like a gremlin. Do vampires look like gremlins, usually? That's weird. Okay. Visions of Villainy. 3 mana, costs 1 less to cast if you control a villain, so it could be 2. Draw 2 cards and lose 2 life. So if you control a villain, this is Night's Whisper, but at instant speed. Draw 2 cards, lose 2 life as sorcery for 2. Oh, they printed this in the Marvel. Okay. But yeah, so it's 2 of that, but instant speed, draw 2 cards, lose 2 life. These days, at instant is nice, and as long as you can, it's pretty easy to control a villain in black, so I'm pretty sure that this will be Night's Whisper at instant speed, so that's not bad. I'm a little bit these days, like, one of the things that obviously since Read the Bones, black has usually had card selection before drawing cards, of some kind, scry, surveil, do all sorts of things, look at the top, blah, you know, so on and so forth. So Think in SOS they had reprinted the bat thing. Which is a scalable read the bones. But and the bargain one from Woe. Yeah, Stargaze is one. That's the one I was thinking of. The this one that was reprinted as a mystical archive. Whoa, that's really cool. The Japanese art is really, really pretty. Okay, sorry. But Rowan's Grim Search is another one. Things like that, where we're used to getting a little bit of card selection with our drawing 2 cards and losing 2 life for 3 mana. So this is interesting. It is discounted. It is an instant speed Night's Whisper. So yeah, I think this card is definitely good. Giant Skeleton Yokai. This one here. Yeah. I mean, it has millipedes and centipedes centipedes or millipedes coming out of its eyes and body here. I don't know how to value this yet. It does trigger at instant speed the draw 2, so that's really important. So if you are running a draw 2 deck with all the draw 2 synergies, right? We've got so many of those. We've got Kid Loki here. We've got the really bad 3/2 up above. Cavalry. We've got a number of other ones. So the Conniving and the drawing 2 per turn just matter, but this one allows you to do it on the opponent's turn, and that can be pretty crazy. So I do think this has a lot of utility. Hey, Nib! Welcome, welcome! I hope your stream was lovely. We are doing a limited set first look. We're looking at Visions of Villainy here for triggering the draw 2 synergies on opponent's turn. I think I'm probably gonna still rank this I think it's still a C+. But it could, in the draw 2 decks, it definitely graduates to a B-. You trophied a couple times, excellent. Were you playing Secrets of Strixhaven or something else? Whiplash, Vengeful Engineer, 1 mana 2, okay. So 1 mana 2/2 enters tapped. Okay, so we've got a Diregraph Ghoul at the base, and then it has more text. So let's see what that does. Whenever it attacks, if he's equipped, each opponent loses X life and you gain X life, where X is the number of equipment attached to him. Okay. That could get really stupid really fast. Interesting. So here's yet another. So we've got Whiplash, we've got Swordsman, and we've got Ronin. Interesting. So that all care about equipment. Those are the 3 cards that we've seen, and then we've seen a few equipment that are meh, but like these will be fine with them. It's still a 2/2 for 1, and it's a villain, and if it dies early, it fills up your... I like this card. I think this one is a B/B+. You did a couple pick 2 SOS and Tarkir Sealed? Oh, okay. That's cool. That's very cool. Widow's Bite. Yes, this one's a teamwork 3. This is still good at 2, -2/-2, and then if gains Death Touch until end of turn, you could do both. You're not necessarily always going to need both at all, but this is a really horrid card to deal with in combat. That's pretty epic. So I do like this card. I think early removal is going to be pretty key. So I'm going to be putting this at a B/B plus. It depends on, you know, how much removal you have there. Have fun at the gym. Thank you so much for the raid. Enjoy. All right, Yellow Jacket, Heartless Marauder. So 1/2 for 2 mana flying. Whenever another villain you control enters, gets plus 1 it gains lifelink until end of turn. So it can become a 2/2 whenever you're playing a villain with flying and lifelink. Okay. I mean, it wears equipment pretty well. It's a villain early. You can play multiple villains per turn. I'm gonna go B on this one. It could be a B minus. All right, now we start the red. And I'm gonna be very interested in the burn on this. Okay. Blazing Crescendo, I believe, is a reprint. A full reprint? Yeah. So this is Blazing Crescendo from Phyrexia All Will Be One. It has its uses because, again, it's one of the ways that sort of red draws cards. Plus 3/1 wasn't always a very good stat unless the creature was unblocked. It did allow a creature to trade up potentially, but usually you would want to use it to try to get more damage in. There are prowess cards in this that we saw in white. And one or so in blue, I think. I want to go double check that though. So in the white, we had prowess in Agent of Atlas. We had prowess on the flyer that was icky, this one. We had, I think we had prowess in blue on at least one card. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm wrong. Okay, white had 2 prowess cards for some reason. And maybe I'm forgetting one, but so that's where this kind of shines, is at least it gets +4/+2 at that point. And then you get to sort of, until the end of the next turn, you play the next card. Usually, I mean, in this it didn't shine, but this was extremely, like, it was fine, but it was an extremely aggressive set. I don't think this looks quite as aggressive. And even this wasn't being run that much. So for now, we're going to give it a C+, but I don't know where that one's going to end up. Oh, here's more prowess. Okay. So it looks like red-white is the prowess deck? That's new and different. Something new and different for us. Okay. Crimson Operative, 4 mana, 3/2 prowess. It's a villain type, which is relevant. We have an artifact here. When this creature enters, exile the top card of your library until the end of your next turn. You can play that card. We've had a lot of ones recently. The Otters used to do this. The I forget what the Otter's name was. Red-white is non-creature spells. That's so weird. It's usually, is it? Why can't I click on this? Scryfall. Dunk. Okay, there we go. So there was a red 3 and a red. We want Bloom. And it was a common. So Alania's Pathmaker. So we've had a bunch of these where we get 4 mana, where you exile the top card of the library, and until you end your next turn, you can play that card. So again, it's the way red sort of draws cards. And this is similar. I think a 3/2 with prowess is a lot scarier than a 4/2. And especially since it's a villain and has that artifact creature type, I think this is a better card than this is. Although the otter type was, and the wizard type was relevant. I think this may still be a better card in this set. It's still something, it's still filler. So it's still a C+, but I think it's, you know, definitely, worth considering in your deck. So here's another plan. Here's the red plan. 2 and a red. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create a tap treasure token, put a plant count. That's crazy. This card is nuts. Okay. All right. So of the of the plans so far, the uncommon, I like the blue one, and I think the red one is the strongest by crazy amounts at this point. So basically, death to our enemies here. When you cast a non-creature spell, create a tap treasure token and put a plan counter on it. When the fourth plan counter, you get to do 7 damage divided as you choose among 1 or 2 targets. That is crazy. Obviously, you're taking turn 3 off to do nothing. But it is this. I mean, the fact that eventually you have 7 damage in your pocket is nutty. And then you can divide it 2 ways, and it's ramping you with the treasure tokens. Yeah, that is pretty crazy. I think this card is nutty. I'm gonna give it a B+. Again, you're taking turn 3 off, and depending on the format speed, if the format's really fast, that could be a problem. But otherwise, I think this is crazy. Wow. Okay. Evil's Thrall. 3 mana, threaten effect, gain control of target creature until end of turn. If you control a villain with greater mana value, oh my god, so many text bits. I don't like it. So many text. Okay, so we've always had threaten. This was originally in, I believe, was it Onslaught was the first one? Yeah, Onslaught was the first one. But yeah, reading. I hate reading. I'm just kidding. All right. So Evil's Thrall is interesting. So we've got a threaten effect here. They've done all sorts of different threaten effects. Active Treason followed that pretty quickly. And then oftentimes we'll get a 4 mana version of it that gives us additional things. Involuntary employment, gains control, it gains haste, create a treasure token, or surveil, or like draw a card, discard a card, or something like that. We've had various versions of this effect. And this one happens to be 3 mana, but so it's purely threaten. However, there's this middle thing. And so basically, if you control a villain with greater mana value than that creature, you gain control of that creature until the end of your next turn instead. So you gain control of it for 2 turns potentially. You have to control a villain with greater mana value than that creature, but that's pretty cray-cray. Yeah, the social piece for the commander, that red plane. Yeah, it was an interesting one. So this is cool. I don't know how I feel about it yet. Because usually what happens most of the time is that the threaten effects are winning you the game, in theory. Or you have multiple sacrifice effects. So one of the craziest combos is Price of Loyalty in the Adventures in Forgotten Realms AFR thing, along with Sepulchral Ghoul. This one here. Hello? I can't type. So sacrifice another creature was a free sacrifice, gets +2/+2 until end of turn. So basically you would steal their creatures and sacrifice them, and that was the key. Because then you could play a ton of these threaten effects, the Price of Loyalty, without any worry that you needed to end the game that turn because you were just going to sacrifice it. We haven't seen, apart from the black creature that pays 3 to sacrifice an artifact or creature, we haven't seen a lot of sacrifice effects that I'm aware of. That I'm remembering, rather. I think there's been maybe 1 other or 2 others. But this is the one I'm remembering right now. So you would need 6 mana to do both. So grab the creature and then sacrifice it this way. But usually you're either ending the game with this or you're sacrificing the creature immediately so they don't get it back. I'm not sure about the gaining control into that, like the true utility of gaining control for 2 turns. With the situational stuff here. I really don't know quite how to evaluate this card yet. Let me just go run back and really quickly see if there was other sacrifice effects really quickly. I don't remember them. This wasn't this because okay. There aren't a lot, if any. So it's more teamwork than sacrifice at this point. Yeah, I mean, so I mean, you'd have to have both those cards. Admittedly, the sacrifice outlet is a common that we have seen. So, but you did a 6 mana to do both of those, which is still fine. I'm just I'm wondering, like, if you control, basically you could just still take at least something small and have a blocker for a couple turns. As long, like, even if you take like a creature that's a 2-drop from them and you can take it for 2 turns because you have a villain that's 3 mana, that seems okay. I really don't know how to value this card yet because it does something a little bit different than normal. I think I'm going to go with a B- for now, but that could absolutely change. I don't quite know how to value this because there's a lot of different utility to it that I'm not sure yet. That is fascinating. All right. Hawkeye, Young Avenger. So, 4 mana 2/4 reach. You could also grab something for teamwork stuff, certainly. If a source you control would deal non-combat damage to an opponent or a permanent an opponent controls, instead it deals that much damage plus X, where X is... Oh! Haha! Okay. Where X is Hawkeye's power. So it's going to be... At the base of it, it's going to be 2 extra damage for dealing non-combat damage to an opponent or permanent. We haven't seen any burn spells yet. This would be non-combat damage, though. So it'd be 9. That would put it up to 9. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, so we'll see if we see any burn spells coming up. A 2/4 reach for 4 is not unbelievable, but so far I'm not impressed with this, but again, I have to see what other damage we do. For now, I'm gonna do a C+. I think it's playable, but I'm not super excited about it unless I see a lot more burn. We'll see. But that can make your burn spells a lot more effective. It's just that 3 mana for a 2/4, 4 mana for a 2/4 reach is is giant spider. So yeah, that's been a while. Look, it's a spooter. So yeah, it's been a while from that. So we've graduated a bit from that, but I think we want to I think this is a definite like great build around in like Commander and other stuffs, but I think I'm a little bit worried about it in Limited because it depends. Like again, I need to see the rest of the burn. Hawkeye's bow. Okay. And Pizza Dog. Okay, 1 mana. Equip creature gets +1/+1 and has reach. Well, that doesn't equip to her very well because she already has reach. Whenever equipped creature comes tapped, it deals 1 damage to each opponent. Okay, so when you tap this, you're not really wanting to attack with that one, I don't think. But when you tap it, it deals... So it'll have 3 power, so it'll be doing 4 damage to each opponent. Interesting. So it would be nice to tap it for teamwork rather than having to attack so you don't lose it. But if this is attached to a different creature and you tap that creature, that's gross. Huh. Okay. Interesting. I still think this card is just good. Enough to run. Like, I think this is a B- card. There's so many equipment synergies that we've seen that are pretty good, and tapped deals 1 damage to each opponent is still nice. +1/+0 and reach is nice for 1 mana. I like that. So I kind of like the bow. And it combos really well with this. I think you'd have to try to get both, and maybe that's because people are going to avoid this potentially for a little while. You might be able to get both. And again, you can't run that many of the same legendary creatures, so it's possible that, yeah. Yeah, for now we'll leave those at those values, and then continue from there. Okay, exile all the cards from your hand, then draw that many cards. Until the end of your next turn, you may play cards exiled this way. It's an arcane again. Wow. Okay, but no splice onto arcane yet. I don't like this. It doesn't draw you an extra card. Almost everything, like... Everything draws you +1 when you're, like, getting rid of your hand. So this is just... This doesn't even... Like, it replaces the card. Like, if you go... I suppose if you draw, like, 3... 3 lands and you keep the lands in hand, then you can do that and exile them, and then you can play the new cards. Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, I misread this. We're good. We're good. I figured it out. It's great. Okay. So this is more of a memory jar, I think. Type effect. So this looks better. Sort of. It's not quite memory jar, but it's like, it's, yeah. So I think that, okay, I think I figured this out. So you have 3 cards. Let's say you have 3 cards in hand. You exile the cards from your hand, and then you draw 3 cards. So you now have 3 cards in hand, and you have 3 cards exiled. And until the end of your next turn, you can play the exiled cards. So it is drawing 3, and it is nice. Okay, that's cool. Okay, so you can still get the value out of your hand if you need to. But you can also, this is good. Yeah, we've seen 2 arcanes so far. This is the second one. I was bringing it up because I was like, I haven't seen arcanes since Kamigawa block. So, you know, this is Glacial Ray from Arcane, from Champions of Kamigawa, but the Champions and Saviors and Betrayers all had, like, arcanes, and splice onto arcane. I haven't seen a splice yet, but we've seen 2 arcanes. But this is actually pretty good. I like this card. It's also a spell to cast, so again, it triggers your prowess. Just gives you more things to do. Yeah, I like this card. I think I'm going to give it a B for now. But this is really fun. That is really, really cool. Okay, I figured it out though. It took me a second. I'm so sorry. For whatever reason, I didn't get the exile, the connection between the 2 exiles here. It was so weird. Because it was draw that many cards and I missed the thing. Yeah, that was great. All right. Hire a crew, 3 mana, instant, create a 2/1 black villain creature token with menace, then creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. Okay, so, +1/+0, you know, charge is nice on a bunch of menace, you know, black creature tokens for now. That can really end the game, definitely, but you could also use it on blocks if you really needed to. Yeah, it's fine. I mean, the idea is still a trumpet blast, right? Thank goodness it's not only attacking creatures, it's all creatures you control after you make that, so this is gonna be a 3/1. And then, similar, the goblin, what is it, surprise? Something, I can't spell. I can't type, really. But yeah, so creatures you can up or create 2 blah. There's sort of like the same idea that we're doing here. Where we either get a creature and a pump in this case, but each is slightly smaller than or bigger than we normally get. So the 2/1/1 goblins is like, you know, this, but then +2/+0 for this one, as opposed to +1/+0. Oftentimes you're really gonna wish for the +2/+0, but the fact that a lot of the black villains you have a ton of these black villain creatures with menace, that does really matter. I don't think they could do +2/+0 in this set, what I've seen so far, as far as like 2/1 villain creatures. So I do think this is going to end a lot of games. I think it's probably still a C+, but it could graduate to a B-. Okay, Hulk Smash. This better be good. 2 mana, instant, teamwork 4. Choose one. If this spell was cast using teamwork, choose both instead. Destroy target non-creature artifact. So it's a shatter. I really, really am not typing well. All right. So we got Shatter at its heart. Non-creature is really important here because Shatter isn't non-creature. So you're paying for the versatility of having the teamwork, right? To be able to do both, you are paying for that, right? You're paying the idea that it can't be a creature, which is annoying because there's a lot of good artifact creatures that we've seen so far. Or target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature an opponent controls. So that is Fall of the Hammer. Target creature you control deals damage equal to power to another target creature. Obviously, this one could deal it to your own creatures, which was really fun because but the Fall of the Hammer, the Hulk Smash can't do it to your own creatures. Very rarely is that going to be relevant, but we've got the target creature you control deals damage to the blah. The fact that you could do both, but it's teamwork 4 is interesting. So, but destroying a non-creature artifact and then being able to also kill something is pretty strong. It does cost teamwork 4. I don't know how to value the teamwork yet. I don't know how much tempo you lose doing it. And like I've said, we've really only seen one payoff for, two technical payoffs. This is payoff for teamwork cost, using this to pay a teamwork cost. And then we also have the blue. We had the plan that at least allows like you to benefit from creatures becoming tapped. So I do think this is a fine spell. And destroying a non-creature artifact is relevant here. We have seen equipment that we really do want, not to have to deal with, so that's nice. For now, I'm gonna give this I think I want to give it a B-. I think it's fine to be a B-, not a C+. I think it has its uses. Okay. Human Torch, Johnny Storm. But again, I don't know about this teamwork, so we'll see. Human Torch, Johnny Storm, 3-mana 2/2 flyer. Whenever you draw a card, if you control another hero, it deals 1 damage to target opponent. Meh. Meh, I say. Well, that works with Hawkeye. So to be 3 damage. That's interesting. Okay. Because it's not too hard to control multiple heroes, and you can also pay 7 and put 3 counters on it to make it a 5/5 flyer. Okay. This one combos really well with the Hex Magic too, because that's drawing a lot of cards. Part 1 of 4 Infinite Loop, I'm sure. So yeah, that's interesting. It's still a 3-mana 2/2, but it does fly, and in red that's not so bad. I think I'm gonna give it a B for now. I could see it graduating to a B+, but I think I'm gonna give it a B for now. Hydra Assault Robot. 2-mana 1/3. Whenever a villain or artifact you control enters, this creature deals 1 damage to target opponent. Okay. That's another thing that these stupid artifact decks in EDH are gonna want. So, Reckless Fireweaver. Whenever an artifact enters the battlefield under your control, it deals 1 damage to each opponent. But this one's also creatures that are villains. Specifically villains, but like that's pretty crazy. It's only to target opponent instead of each opponent, so that is a difference, and it may not find a spot for that reason in many of these artifact decks, but it's still kind of nutty. This is somewhat similar to the Raphael that we had recently. Tough Turtle. Whenever another creature you control enters, deals 1 damage to target opponent, but this is going to be artifact and villain. Now, some of the creatures that you run in your deck are not always going to be villains. You're not going to be able to get, you're going to have some heroes in there probably too. But this is going to do some incidental damage that might actually add up to quite a bit. And it is a relevant creature type. It's being a villain itself, and it's also an artifact, so there are uses for it. For now, I'm going to give this a C+, but this one could actually graduate to a B-. Iron Fist, Living Weapon, 3-mana 2/3. Whenever you cast a spell that targets a creature you control, Iron Fist gains tap. Iron Fist deals damage equal to his power to any other target until end of turn. Oh, that's gross. That definitely also... Okay, so I'm gonna put this sucker up to a... I'm gonna put this up to actually a B+. I think there's enough things that do damage that we're actually gonna want this card. It might go down, I'm not sure, but I think I'm gonna up it. All right. Iron Fist is in your top 5 Marvel heroes. All right. So whenever you cast a spell that targets a creature you control, so that does make the I mean the Hulk smash triggers it. The 3+1, the first thing we saw, the Blazing Crescendo does trigger it, and it also exiles. So that's actually interesting as far as that goes. But even getting to use this once is pretty nice. I kind of like this card. I think I want to go with a B+. It's vulnerable, but it's very good. This is not an A. I think this is a B+. It could graduate. No, I don't think it could graduate to an A-. I think it's still a B+. Too many things have to go right for it to be that high a pick. And there's some, I'm sure there's some crazy rares and mythics. Yeah. Maybe it's an A-. I think it could graduate to an A-. For now, I'm going to give it a B+. Jessica Jones, Private Eye, 3 mana, 2/3. We keep getting that. Put a stun counter on Jessica Jones and tap it to exile the top X cards of your library. X is Jessica's power. You can play those cards this turn, not until next turn, but okay. That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that. I'm gonna give this a B. I think, you know, being able to draw cards is really nice here. But I don't think you want this terribly early. Actually, you might. It depends on how aggressive this thing is, because 2/3 for 3 is just not that good. If the set is a little slower, then it's great. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it for that for now. Okay. Kunlun, warrior, 2 mana, 2/2. If you're wearing pants, do you need a loincloth? Anyway. When this creature enters, you may sacrifice an artifact or discard a card. If you do, draw a card. So that's one way. So, okay. If you use... And we've seen a few things that I would steal. But if you use Evil's Thrall to steal an artifact creature, I can definitely see this being like a 2 mana here. So we now have a way with 5 mana to grab something and sacrifice it. So that's cool. It's for extra protection. That's great. Yes. All right, so I mean, so we now have one way to do 5 mana to do this. But you can discard a card if you do draw a card. This is something like, so from OTJ, Discerning Peddler. When it enters the battlefield, you can discard a card if you do draw a card. This was one of the things that in Best of 1 was actually kind of important so that you could fix up your deck. This is also a way to draw 2 cards per turn. In 1 turn, so that you can trigger the, like, if you're running an Izzet deck, you can draw the 2nd card per turn. It is also a way to fill up the graveyard for the creatures in the graveyard matters, stuff in black. So there are there are uses for this. It's also just a way to fix up your hand in limited and in Best of 1. So I usually don't mind running a card like this. This also has the hero type, which is relevant. So I don't always mind that one of those in my Best of 1 decks. But again, it does have other pieces of utility. It's still a C+, but it's just you know, it's still, I think, quite runnable. Kree Sentinel. Okay, so here's the red basic land cycler. 5 mana, 5/5 reach, though, with an artifact and a villain type. This one, I think, is one of the better ones that I've seen so far. But again, we'll have to see. Again, same thing as all the other land cyclers. I'm going to put it as a C+ for now. We'll see whether it's absolutely abysmal, if the set's too fast, etc. So, or which ones are actually playable and valuable versus that. The black one was okay. I think this one's fine. It's just, you know, none of them are great, obviously, because you get the added basic land cycling value. But again, this is a way to get a creature in the graveyard for the creature in the graveyard matter in black, etc. And to move forward. But again, remember things like Final Fantasy, in which the green was the best, the Balam T-Rexor, and the black was following that. The blue was moderately playable, and the white was really meh. And the red was like pretty much unplayable. So again, it was you have to evaluate it as it goes. And in Mom, I think a lot of the land cyclers were way too slow. March of the Machines, I think they were way too slow. Lightning Strike is reprinted. Okay. And 3 damage to any target. This is a great card. B+. Fantastic. It's yet another way to trigger the, yeah, I kind of like Hawkeye now. Giant spider, eat your heart out. I've seen enough damage and incidental damage that I think I like that. All right. So Lightning Strike is very, very good. Its presence mean that I'm a lot less thrilled with some of the cards that we've seen at 5 mana. The flavor text. Invoking Thor's Wrath is a mistake few villains are stupid enough or sturdy enough to make twice. Yeah, that's a good one. So there are a couple things at 5 that we've seen early that have 3 toughness that I'm a little bit worried about. The presence of Lightning Strike make me a little bit less likely to run them or pick them that high as highly as I would otherwise. Yeah, so there's a few things and some flyers. Okay. Yeah, Lightning Strike is going to be very good. But this now is much better. I really like this card still. Okay. Yeah, we got a decent amount of 4 toughness here. Lightning Strike doesn't look as good as it could be, actually. But it's still very good, so we're still putting it up there. All right. Okay, yeah, grab that card. So Loki... 2 mana, 2/1. 1 mana and tap. When you next cast an instant or sorcery spell with mana value less than or equal to Loki's power, this turn copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. Iron Man is a habitual line step with Thor Odin, so he hasn't learned from that mistake the first time. Apparently he's sturdy enough, though. King. So, obviously the power up is going to make this much more effective. But less than or equal, you can copy for 1. That means that on 3, if you play this and then play on 3 a Lightning Strike, you can copy it. That is pretty cray-cray. And then later on, like if you pay 2 mana and then the other 3 for the 2 counters, then it's enters a 4/3, and the next turn you can this card's a bit gross. And people don't want to remove it very much, so that's pretty crazy. So I'm gonna go B+ on this one. I like this card. Could even graduate to an A-. I'm not absolutely sure. Loki's badass. Machinesmith Automaton. Wait, hold on 1 second. Yeah, okay. Machinesmith Automaton is 3 mana, 2/2 trample. Villain relevant and artifact relevant. Whenever another artifact you control enters, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. Okay, so it is a 3-mana version. Like, so we've got the EOE. I'm forgetting what it was called. The like armadillo dude. What do you give me? Not that, but 1 and a red. We have 2 mana, so we have EOE. Common search. Pangolin. That's what it was. So whenever another artifact you control enters, you can pay 1. If you do, put a +1 counter on this creature. It started off at 2, and you had to pay the 1. But it's very similar as principle. This starts off at 2, but it costs 3 mana, and it also has trample, which is pretty crazy. And the relevant creature type and this thing. So whenever another artifact you control enters, put a +1 counter on this creature. There are +1/+1 counters synergies. And mainly the +1/+1 counter synergies that we've seen. The biggest one of them is hold on, Invisible Woman. So it has to be a hero though, so that doesn't work with this because it's a villain. So artifact deck that we've seen so far is actually black red or blue red. I mean, Grixis colors overall is the artifact stuff that we've seen for the most part. Obviously, there are artifacts in the other color, in the white, but we've seen the most of them that matter in black and blue. So this is going to be interesting. I do think this card can do some work. I'm going to give it a C+ for now, but I think it might be a B- and I might be undervaluing it. Misty Knight, hero for hire. 2 mana 3/1. 2 and tap, discard a card, draw a card for each card you've discarded this turn. Okay. So if you've connived beforehand, you can actually do more than just the draw. Okay. It's 3/1 for 2. That's fine. It's a hero. That's a relevant creature type. We've got 2 and tap, discard a card, draw that. So it's just 2 and tap to rummage at its face. And then if you've already done a connive, which does discard a card, you can instead draw 2 cards. Yeah, I like it's a B. Photon Blast Barrage. Ooh. This is what I was afraid of. Okay. I was afraid of this for multiple reasons, because I wanted to know how many things did 1 damage to various things. There are, so like Kree Commandos, the presence of like this spell makes Kree Commandos worse, number 1. But it also makes, the Brave Brawler. We've got a bunch of things with 1 toughness, absolutely. Sometimes they get bigger over time, obviously, so they could get out of range. But all the 2/1 menace duder guys could be absolutely wiped out by this card. But I do think this one is really fun. The versatility on it is pretty crazy. So, now Rolling Thunder could hit any target. And this is divided as you choose among any number of targets already for free, and they realized that was pretty cray-cray. But, so this is going to be 1 damage, right? Copying X times. So it's similar, but it's only creatures. It doesn't go face. So that's kind of the similarity, but it's like a similar card, but yeah. I do think this is going to be very good. I do think things tend to go wide in a lot of this, and killing, a 3/1 early is, going to be important. It's going to cost a bit. I think this is probably a B+ in this. I think it's quite good. But that could be me overvaluing it because it can't go face. But again, the presence of this card definitely makes Hawkeye really good. All right. I think yeah, I definitely think this is actually a B plus. This girl is great now. We have definitely seen enough burn and incidental stuff. That's pretty sweet. Okay. Red Hulk. Gamma Berserker villain. Pangolini. So there's a combo with Red Hulk. Okay. Well, let's tell me about it. It's like, so 6/7 reach trample for 6. And whenever it's dealt damage, put a +1/+1 counter on him. And when you do, he deals damage equal to the number of +1/+1 counters on him to any other target. Jesus Christ. Okay. That's a hell of a drug. 7 toughness. We haven't seen much in red that can deal with that at all. We have seen black that can deal with that. We have seen blue enchantment that can shut it down, and a white enchantment that can exile it. But Red Hulk being played against red is actually pretty painful. Because I don't think we've seen anything that does 7 damage, unless you have a million mana. Or doubling your spells. You mean these 2 cards are comboed? 1 damage to target creature? Yeah, you can keep doing 1 damage and yeah. Photon Barrage cannot kill it, no. Because every 1 damage you do, it deals +1/+1. So that's pretty cracker. Yeah, this is a fine card. The problem is you can pay 6 mana and then just have it crushed for 4. I think I'm gonna give it a B. I think it seems like a good ROI. Reach trample for 6, 7. That seems fine. And I'm not gonna do the verbal stim. I'm not gonna do the verbal stim. But I do want to point out that in red, this is a red Steve. So it used to be that green got the big things for cheap. 6 mana, 6/6 trample. Oh no, you get 6 mana, 6/7 reach trample bullshit. Yeah, the barrage here for like on this just basically does kill your opponent. Yeah. Colossal Red Maw. Yes, absolutely. Colossal Red Maw. Here we go. But yeah, anyway, I think this is, yeah, this is a B. It's good stuff. Repulsor Blast. 4 mana, 5 damage to target creature, but also 2 damage to the creature's controller if you teamwork. Okay, that's fine. Whenever it's dealt damage, put a +1/+1 counter on it. So it'll be 1 at a time for each of these because they'd be copies of the target. So 1 at a time, +1/+1. That'll deal 1 damage to any other target, and then the second one will be another +1/+1 counter. That'll be 2 damage to any target. Right? You get the idea. It's whenever it is dealt damage. So it's each instance of a damage. Of any damage dealt. So this Repulsor Blast would only give 1 counter. So not like 5. Because it's whenever a damage source deals damage. But in this case, it would be each of these are copied spells, so it's new sources of damage. So again, 1 damage, 2 damage, 3 damage. So if somebody spent 5, right, that'd be 6 damage that Hulk is dealing and getting 3 counters. So yeah. The Photon Blast Barrage cannot kill Hulk. if you do the full 7, then at once with a different spell, then you can kill. But how big does... Oh, to kill the opponent. It depends on what the opponent's life total is. Repulsor Blast seems good. Again, it's 5 damage for 4 mana at sorcery speed. We've definitely had that for 4 before. But then also 2 damage to the potential controller if you're team working 2 for something that you don't need to block with, or something came in play the same turn, or Maria would be the best instance of this, because she would get +1/+1 and draw a card. So yeah, just fine removal. The 5 damage would be 7 damage exactly if with the with our lovely Hawkeye. So that could kill Hulk. But yeah. So, okay. Yeah, this one's a B. It can be a B plus. It depends on the constitution of your deck, and whether you got other better removal, etc. Speed, Young Avenger, 2 mana, 2/2 haste. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you can pay 1. When you do, target creature with haste can't be blocked this turn except by creatures with haste. Yeah. All right. I don't know how many other creatures with haste there are in this, but obviously you can make it unblockable. Because you know, opponent doesn't necessarily have a hasty bit up. This one seems fine. I'm gonna go with a B minus. Seems fine. Stark Industries Executive, 1 mana, 1/2, tap 2 and tap, create a treasure token. Okay. If you need to ramp, yeah, C plus, playable. It's an artifact coming to play. You ramp yourself up. Pepper. Super speed. Flash enchant creature. When this creature enters enchanted creature gains first strike until end turn and has +1/+1 and haste. Well, there's a way to give haste for something to be unblockable by this. And then it can trigger, I mean, this would trigger that because it's a non-creature spell. So you could pay 1 and then make something unblockable. That's not bad as a combo. It's just meh. Yeah, it's funny that this one is, if this is meant to be Pepper, then of course it's weird that it's not legendary, but I think they needed, out of 170 creatures in this damn set, 128 are legendary. So I think they needed to like calm the fuck down a little bit and be like, okay, we're actually gonna have something that you can have multiple copies of in a deck. But yeah. Anyway. And it might be that this is Pepper Potts might be like they might print a Pepper Potts later in another set, but Tony's ideas are expensive. Someone has to make sure we can put them into practice. Maybe she's referring to someone else, a different executive, because you know how Tony likes to hire like lovely, you know, pretty women. Remember how he was eyeing Scarlet Black Widow, Scarlett Johansson. So yeah, anyway, so there's super speed. It's meh. Nah. I don't even know if it's playable. But the first strike and +1/+0 is nice. It's only first strike until end of turn, but it can win a combat maybe. And again, we have to just like, if Scuffle ever does the analysis of exactly what wins combat for the most parts, again, like you want to look at whether +1/+1 wins most combats, what percentage of combats does +1/+1 win, etc. So again, that makes the cards better or worse based on the set. Well, let's see, hold on. So yeah, it's cast. So it would give itself unblockable. Well, not unblockable. Obviously, if the opponent has a hasty creature, this doesn't matter at all. But then later on, it can give it, if you can cast another blah. I still don't like either of these very much. I think this is, I mean, you can make this unblockable, which is nice. 2 damage unblockable is sweet. And still a 2 mana, 2/2 haste with a hero type. So still B minus, I think, for that one. This one, I don't even know if it's. Again, we're just gonna. I'm only gonna base it on the whether the +1/+1 wins combat stuff. Team tactics, and again, this triggers prowess, but team tactics, 2 mana, teamwork 1. Target creature gains double strike until end of turn. The spell was cast using teamwork. That creature also gains. Oh shit! I'm gonna die to this so many times. Oh god. At least it's not common. So this is Fate Reforged originally. This is Temur Battle Rage. Target creature gains double strike until end turn and also gains trample if you get control of a creature with power 4 or greater at instant speed. This one is instant speed, gains double strike already, which is already going to kill a lot of people. And then but Teamwork 1 is a very low price to pay, and gaining trample is really crazy. So this is a very powerful card. And I'm going to it's not Embercleave. That is a crazy finisher though. I think, I mean, it also can be used as a removal spell in combat. Like, you just give double strike and that can just destroy something. Like, you don't have to give the trample. It's still decent. I think this is probably a B+. It was pretty crazy. It might graduate to an A-. I'm not absolutely certain. Like, it's pretty dumb. Ugh. Truck Toss. Costs 2 less to cast if you control a vehicle. I don't know how many vehicles there are in this. I haven't seen any yet. But 2 mana to deal 4 damage to any target is crazy. 4 damage to any target. So in the past we've had nope, not that. What am I thinking of? I want Stoke. Now this one has Convoke, and that was even better, but 4 damage to any target at instant speed for the same cost, but you could make it cheaper. That's Stoke. But this one makes it cheaper if you control a vehicle. Yeah, Truck Toss, yeah. So apparently people were getting confused with the flavor text on this, by the way. They were like, that's not Hulk, that's Abomination. But it turns out they were meaning like Hulk was responding to the image of somebody throwing a taco truck and being like, no, I love tacos. I don't know how many vehicles there are in this, so I don't know whether this is going to cost 2 less at all. 4 damage to any target at instant speed for 4 is not bad, and it does finish the game pretty easily. So, like, you have to be very worried about getting to 7 because of the plan, and 4 here because of the Truck Toss, because it can go face at instant speed. I still think this is a very good card. There's a lot of creatures it kills for 4 mana, and even if you get 2, that's crazy. Again, any target, really important. So I'm gonna go B+ on this one. You just want to win with a truck to the face, exactly. All right, Vision of Love. 2 mana, you can sacrifice an artifact or discard a card. If you do, draw 2 cards. Okay. So this is another way to discard a card for that 3-1 that we saw. That allows you to draw a card for each card you've discarded this turn. That's pretty sweet. It's also another way. This is another 5 mana way to combo with the red steel for an artifact creature. Only on artifact creature, but still worth noting. So this Evil's Thrall, right? If you gain control of an artifact creature for 3 mana, you can then sacrifice that artifact and do a thing. So it also triggers prowess. You know, it's fine. It's, I mean, otherwise, you know, it's still a thrill of possibility. Discard a card, draw 2 cards, basically, at instant speed. Same idea, but you can also potentially sacrifice an artifact instead. So it is a strict upgrade over this. Yay, power creep. Yeah. Although it's not a cast trigger. So a cost to cast trigger. So actually, this is interesting. You can cast it, and if an opponent does something wonky, you actually don't have to sacrifice something. So they can't counter. It's actually even better because they can't. It's not part of the cost, so they can't counter this and have you still have discarded a card. That's pretty cool. So you can choose after, like, if they just counter it, you don't sacrifice an artifact or discard a card. Like the thrill. So it's a really big upgrade. And the artwork is stunning, so that's nice. I'm going to... Yeah, just don't copy it. Because, well, if you copy it, you'll have to sacrifice an artifact or discard a card, definitely. Another one. This one, if you copied it, you just draw the 2 cards. So, yes. So, okay, so for some measure of thing, it's good. Oops, sorry, hold on. That's not what I meant to do. There we go. So, okay. I mean, I think it's going to be probably a C+ still, just like you want it, but it's not unbelievable. Volcanic, so long thrill of possibility. Yeah, I mean, again, like I said, and nobody pointed out, copying the thrill of possibility is better than copying this spell. Because again, with the copy here, you have to choose to sacrifice or discard, otherwise you're not drawing. With this card, as long as the first copy resolved, right? First copy hit the stack, right? And you cast it using discarding a card, you can just draw 2 cards instead of, you don't have to sacrifice another thing or discard another card. So copying this one is worse than copying this one. But other than that, this is a strict upgrade. I mean, yeah, and still the baseline of copying this one is you get another version of this card, so it's not bad. It's just not as good as copying Thrill. So, Volcanic Villain is 3 mana, 3/2 haste. Power up, put 2+1 on counters on this. Yeah, C+. Wonderman Hollywood Hero. What? Okay, somebody explain Wonderman to me. I've never seen Wonderman. I don't know what Wonderman is. Anyway, 5 mana, 4/4 flyer. That seems to be what we get in this. Each power-up ability of permanence you control can be activated at an additional time. That's kind of good here. Okay. All right. Yeah, that's good. That's pretty good. He was a stuntman and actor before getting superpowers. He got superpowers. Okay. I will say that the art draws your eye to a certain area of said person's body. And it's weird. He's one of the most powerful heroes in this. Oh, interesting. Anyway, moving along. I mean, the fact that you can activate a power-up ability a second time is really, really good. And it's still a 5 mana 4/4 flyer. That's just a fine card. I'm going to give it a B/B+. All right, on to the green. All right, here we go. When this creature enters, create a food token or a treasure. Oh, that's pretty good. So 3 mana 3/2 insect. When this creature enters, create a food token or a treasure token. That's actually quite good, the treasure token in particular, because it ramps you. That's really key. And having a 3 mana 3/2, you'd rather 3 mana 3/3 in green create a treasure token. Obviously, we're really spoiled ever since Streets of New Capenna, where we just got the, you know, the nuts at 3 mana. And we really want that back. We've been chasing that high ever since. So why can't I click on this? Scryfall. The hell? Yeah, okay. I can just type it in. So this thing is a 3 mana 3/3 Vigilance Trample and creates a treasure token when it comes into play. So, and it wasn't even the best 3-drop in this set because that still had Inspired Overseer, which was, or whatever that was called. What was it even freaking called? Overseer or something maybe? Yeah, Inspiring Overseer. Because this was better. This is dumb. This is a 3 mana 2/1 flyer that gains the life and draws a card when it comes to play, which is so that was absolutely stupid from Streets originally. But we still think fondly of our lovely little Jewel Thief, and now we get a 3/2 that creates a food or a treasure token. I like the value of being able to create either, because like again, you know, maybe you need the artifact in play or maybe you need the life. But the treasure token is the more important one, usually for green early, like at 3 mana. So almost always you're going to be creating the treasure token with this, I would assume, and to ramp you to the next thing. But why would you need to make it a 3/2? I don't know. Maybe Jewel Thief would be overpowered in this set. Who knows? But you know, this seems fine. The ramp on 3, at least it blocks, you know, some stuff. The problem is it does. There's been a lot of like 2 mana 2/2s and 1 mana 1/1s that it trades down. So 1 mana 2/2s that we've seen actually, or 1 mana 2/1s that it trades down for, and I'm not hugely a fan of that. So I really don't. So far, I don't see why Jewel Thief wouldn't have been an appropriate printing, or at least like make not Vigilance Trample. Ignore that. Just make it a 3/3 that makes a treasure token like that. That doesn't seem wrong to me here. But so far, I'm not a huge fan of this card because of that. But we'll see whether how important that treasure token is, and maybe the food token if there's life gain synergies. For now, C+, it looks fine. It's just not exciting. Call Damage Control, 2 mana, choose up to 2, return those cards from your graveyard to your hand. Artifact, creature, enchantment, or land card. This, again, same thing as the black spell that we talked about earlier. The one that does 2 creature... Hold on, I gotta find it. Decoy Ploy. One target villain or target hero. It's 2 cards that you're getting back for 1 card. And the slower a set is, the more incremental that advantage matters. So we talked about this before. I won't bore you with it. Again, we looked at Soul Salvage and all the other stuff. So this one can also be pretty crazy. Get an artifact, creature, or creature card, or artifact and enchantment, or artifact and land. But usually it's going to be artifact and creature. I think this is probably going to be best in blue, green, or red, green, just because the artifacts are there. Maybe even green, black. I don't think it's going to be particularly good in white as far as I've seen so far. And then I don't think it's going to be as good in black. Well, I mean, it's as good in black as it would be in blue or red. So, but it seems worthy. Not unbelievable worthy. Maybe there's enchantment cards that are crazy, so we'll see. For now, I'm going to give it C+. I think it's runnable, but we'll see. It could graduate, you know, just like the Decoy Ploy, depending on how slow the format is. Claim the Kingdom. 2 mana. Here's the plan. When a land enters, put a +1 on kind of target you control and a plan counter. When the 4th one is due, put a... Okay. This one seems fine. But I don't like it late. So it's I think this one's on on par with the white plan. The white plan is only good early. It is very bad late, and I think the same thing is true of this. It can break board stalls if you have a ton of creatures, but if you don't have another ton of creatures and you draw this, it's just not going to be good. Yeah, I mean, 4th land, it's like, you got to get it early. That's the thing. I think it's best early. I think it's going to be a lot worse late. And I think the black, so the red is nutty. The black is fine. And the red and the blue, I think, are my favorite plans so far for limited. I think they're the most unconditionally good in terms of when you get them on your curve and in your game. But you know, this one can do work. It's just, I think it's probably going to be a B-/C+. Just for that reason, probably B-. Doc Samson, super psychiatrist, 5 mana 3/6. That's a butt. Big butts. If you would put one or more counters on a permanent you control, put that many plus one of each of those kind of counters on that permanent instead. Okay, so it is hardened scales, but not just for +1/+1 counters. And then you can tap and add X mana of any one color where X is Doc Samson's power. Although at 5, you're less particularly enthused about ramping. That said, there's a lot of really quite expensive power-up costs, and so this is clearly meant to help you do that. Let's see, and you know, it helps connivers and all the other stuff but what is a gamma? Yeah, as a creature type. I mean, Hulk. Do you call Hulk a gamma? I mean, gamma radiation helped create Hulk, but I don't think you call Hulk a gamma. Do you? I don't know. Is that what they do in the comics? Do they actually call them gammas? Oh, okay. Yeah, thanks, Serpents. Okay, we do. All right. So I'm gonna say probably a B on this one. It could graduate to a B+, but I'm gonna say probably a B. It seems decent, but just not crazy. Okay, there's a giant growth reprint for like the 3rd set in a row. Not quite, but like, oh. All right. The Foundations had it. The Mystical Archives had it, I think, and Estrika's Restrixhaven, and now this has it. It is thematic though. This card has gotten worse over time. We'll see how many Tramplers we have. There's a few. We've seen one in red at least. Couple in red actually. The Red Hulk 2 and the common. But yeah. Gamma Chameleon. Yeah. Come and grow. Yeah, so I mean it's a combat trick. It often wins combat, but it's best on Tramplers or Menacers or stuff like that. We'll see how it goes. I'm gonna give it a C+ here. I think it's a fine combat trick that's playable. I don't know how many you want in this right now. Go nuts, Squirrel Girl. 1 mana, teamwork 3, choose one. If the spell's cast, choose both. Put a +1 counter on target creature you control fights, target creature an opponent controls. So at its heart, we have Prey Upon, target creature you control fights, target creature you don't control, 1 mana sorcery speed. That's the bottom half here. If you teamwork 3, you get a +1/+1 counter on it, and it kind of becomes Hunt the Weak, with that extra 3 being paid by a creature tapping. But again, that's a lot of tempo for tapping down a 3. I don't know if I like that very much. I mean, I think we're probably gonna need it but I would rather a bite or punch spell instead of a fight spell. Always, obviously, and I would rather instant speed because that can be blown out. Sorcerer can be blown out quite easily. The +1/+1 does matter. I just haven't seen that many things that benefit from like teamwork tapping. I think we're certainly gonna need it. I think it's probably a C+/B-. Gorilla. 2 mana, 2/2. The counter doesn't have to go on the fighter, you're correct, but it's not necessarily a little better because of that. It's just because the teamwork is meh. 2/2 reach, sacrifice a creature to destroy target non-creature artifact or non-creature enchantment, activate only as a sorcery. Why does it have to be non-creature? That's so blah. We in the, I mean, I know that you want to keep your artifacts. I know that the artifacts are a thing, but like we have so many things recently that sacrifice, destroy target artifact or enchantment. Doesn't matter whether it's a creature. This obviously you don't have to pay the one, but we've had stuff like that in white for many years, like sacrifice creature, destroy target enchantment, or sacrifice creature, destroy target like artifact. Why does it have to? I know, I get. Oh, this feels bad. And activate only as a sorcery. God damn it. I'm gonna give this a C+. I'm sure there's gonna be artifacts that we want to destroy and non-creature enchantments. Actually, wait, I'm gonna give this a B- because I've just remembered the only way we don't actually, this thing doesn't deal with the enchantments that kill our creatures. I think, because remember we have the banishing light in this toward the end. Where is it? Web up. And then we have the frozen and ice, neither of which are dealt by the Murdoch thing. And then so this one actually might be really important. Yeah, I think I'm actually gonna give it a B- now. Ugh, even though it has to be activated as sorcery, can't block and then sag, which like everything else could do. Anyway, Hellcat, Undying Vigilante, 2 mana 2/2 haste, because I just haven't seen that much artifact and enchantment destruction. I've seen some artifact destruction. We saw one shatter that can do also a punch in red, but it was like teamwork 4. But yeah, Hellcat, Undying Vigilante, 2 mana 2/2 human hero haste. When it dies, return to the battlefield and control with the plus all abilities and gains haste. Brr. Dang. So she kind of has Undying. On it's in her name. So wolf pup thing, blah. No, it's not a pup. Okay, wolf. Oh, there's a lot of things named wolf. Oh boy. Where's my dude? Could just look it up. I don't want to. Young wolf. There it is. So Undying is an ability where if it dies, it had no +1 counters. Return it to the battlefield with a +1 counter on it. This one can. Oh, hey. This one can have +1/+1 counters and still will do this, right? So it's a 2/2 haste for 2 green that when it dies, it becomes a 3/3 haste. So a 2/2 plus the +1/+1 counter with haste. That's pretty good. It's just useful. I think it's a B, but it's like perfectly useful. Loses all abilities so it doesn't happen again. But you can flicker maybe or do something like that. Hercules. Okay, sorry. I didn't watch the Jessica Jones show. Are you talking about the Hellcat? Hercules. Like little grin. 3 mana 3/3. Power up 5. Put a +1 counter on it. Gains vigilance, indestructible, and haste until end of turn. The tits and butt cheesecake pose. Yeah. Wonder if he does the bend and snap every. All right. I mean, this seems fine. I think it's a B- though. Yeah. Hulkling. There are so many Hulks. Burgeoning Bruiser. 3 mana, 2/3 vigilance. Whenever another creature you control enters, if it has greater power or toughness than Hulkling, put a +1/+1 counter on this. So this is evolve. So I don't remember. What did I? Elusive. Fine. All right. So this one. So evolve is if it has greater power or toughness than the creature, put a blah. Same idea. Not a gamma shape-shifting alien. Okay. So this seems fine. It will get bigger, better, faster, stronger. It's still a B-. It's just a fine card. Why model? Who's that in the background? Oh, that's Wiccan. I can see Wiccan. Yeah, yeah. And he's married to Wiccan. Oh, I love it. Okay. That's cool. Yay. All right, all right, all right. Wait, does that mean in the show, in the Agatha show, is that? Huh. I think we've met. So does that mean that that kid's a Cree? That's the. Oh, that's interesting. Hmm. Um. Half Cree, half Skrull. Okay, because reasons. Yeah, I mean it's got evolve. Like it's just like the evolve here. So I don't know why they didn't use the keyword, but that's what we've seen. I've seen a lot of ones where they don't use a keyword anymore, which is annoying because they're using new keywords for this anyway. So, oh well. Okay, yeah, fine. Khazar of the Savage Land, 5 mana, 3/2. You may look at the top card of your library anytime. You can play lands from the top of your library. Okay. When it enters, create Zabu, a legendary 2/2 green cat creature token with landfall. Whenever land you control enters, put a +1% counter on Zabu. That's great. I like this card. I like this. Is a B+. I like this card. It's probably not that good, but I'm still going to make it a thing because I want to play this card. It's probably a B, but it's 2 bodies, a 3/2 and a 2/2. And then the next turn, you know, you get a 3/3 potentially if you play a land. Obviously on 5, you're not necessarily drawing that many lands, but you can look at this, gives you information about the next steps. You play lands from the top of your library, just matters for the late game as well, just to get through those so that you can get to better spells. Yeah, good stuff. Knight of Wundagore. 2 mana, 2/1 trample. Whenever you put a +1/+1 counter on another creature, put a +1/+1 counter. Oh, there's another +1/+1 counter payoff, finally. Okay. That's pretty cool. I don't like the art at all. I hate that art. Yeah, I really hate that art. Okay, I'm sorry. This is sorry if you like it. Again, my taste is not everybody's. I'm not trying to poop on your shit. I'm so sorry. But this is repulsive to me. I really don't like that art in Magic. That's bad. It looks like, yeah, anyway. Moving along. So yeah, I mean this could get bigger, better, faster, stronger. Only triggers once each. Why did you need to make it only trigger once each turn? There's no need for that. The question I have here is, it says whenever you put a +1/+1 counter on another creature, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. It doesn't say whenever you put one or more. Does anybody know whether this has been errated? There's have been cards that have been errated from the start in this set. Because they forgot to put until end of turn, for example, on several things. Triggers only once, so it would matter. Good. Okay, just double checking. Okay. Yeah, it is keylock. So that's why it doesn't matter. Okay, okay. This is fine. C+. Mr. Hyde, Monster Within. 3 mana 2/2 villain. At the beginning of your upkeep, choose one, put a +1/+1 counter on it, or remove a counter from a creature. You draw a card. That's great. I think this is a B+. I like this card. This is great. I love it. Even though it's a 3 mana 2/2, like there's just so much value there. Obviously Lightning Strike exists, but this is pretty sweet. And you have to wait till the upkeep to activate. I really like this card. All right, Pet Avengers. I don't care what this card does. It's an A+. Oh my god. All right, wait. So, I want to play this with Diligent Zookeeper. It would be at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It would be a 10/10. Sorry. Okay. Anyway. All right. So, anyway, sorry, this is a 4/4 for 4 with reach. That is already fine. It's just a decent ROI unlimited. Then it can power up for 7, put a +1/+1 counter on it, and create a 3/2 white hero creature token with vigilance. Yeah. This is still probably a C+/B- maximum. But I love it and it's adorable. Powerful Broker. 3 mana 3/3, again fine ROI. For each kind of counter on target permanent or player, give it that permanent or player another counter of that kind. Activate only as a sorcery. This Powerful Broker is really good with the little Knight of Wundagore. That's a nice combination. As long as you have a counter to put on something, that you've put on something, rather, like, so Mr. Hyde, put a counter on it, right? This will get another counter once per turn, and then next turn you can do, another counter on that, and then another counter on the other. So that's pretty cool. I like this card. I think this might be a B-. I'm gonna give it a C+ tentatively, but this might be a B-. Punishing Punch. 3 mana instant speed, costs 2 less to cast if there are 2 or more creature cards in your graveyards. This is meant to go with the black or anything that connives, or the red that discards. Not really as good with white. Although 2 or more creature cards often will happen with white just naturally. But again, to enable this really fast, do that. Deals damage equal to twice its power to target creature an opponent controls. That's nice. I like this card. This is good green removal. This is what green removal gets these days. This is a B+ for green. This is great. I don't think it's a B+ compared to like certain other removal spells, of course, but if you're already in green, it's going to be a B+. So normally it's going to be probably a B. All right, Rapid Rescue. Okay, we got another Spider-Man. 1 mana, green, instant, mill 2 cards. You can put a permanent card from among the milled cards into your hand. You gain 2 life. At instant speed, it helps you mill some cards into the graveyard for this to be online faster. So it is 1 mana, mill 2 cards, but you can only choose amongst those, and it has to be a permanent card. I really would prefer to pay more. Obviously, this card is dumb. I think this was called this. New. Rumble. So I would rather pay 1 more and do 3 into the graveyard. We've had that in the past. Anything that at least says gives us 3 or 4 cards if it's going to be specifying permanent. And we don't have like threshold in the set. Things that care about like 7 cards in your library. Obviously, this can put 2 creatures in the graveyard, but I really don't like this because I want to be able to get a land or a creature, and so if it's just 2 cards, I don't really like it. So like things like Winding Way, choose creature or land, do the blah. Like I don't like this card. So I'm not gonna, I don't like this card. I think I'm gonna give it a C. I could be completely wrong. It does gain 2 life, you know, but I just don't like that. Because we're A, not manipulating the top of our library so that we know what we're milling, and B, like, it's just too, ugh. Yeah, I don't know about this one. Oh yeah, I didn't like Seeds of Hope either. Seed of Hope? I can't type. Okay. Yeah, didn't like this one either. This one's shit. I really hated this card. It was bad. And I think there was, yeah, I don't think there was Threshold in that one either, but yeah. Don't like it. Functional Reprint just reskinned. Don't like it. All right, Reptile Dinomorpher. 1 mana, human hero, 1/2. Brontos. That's adorable. Okay, so this card, you can play it early as a 1/2, or you can, and then later on you can just add instant speed to make it into a 3/5 that gains vigilance and reach, or a 6/6 that gains trample. If you need a creature early in your deck, then this is fine. It does require expenditure to make those things happen. I'm not sure I'm a huge fan of it. But I think if you need an early creature, it's good. I'm gonna give it a B-, but like this could be a better card than I think it, like a pretty decent card, of course, for breaking stalemate, certainly. But yeah, it's unfortunately Fabled is so much better, right? That you because it gets permanent stuff. Steve, thank you so much for the Prime Gaming sub. 18 months. Thank you so much for your support of the stream. You're amazing. It's only until the turn, exactly. That's the thing, is like that's the problem. Like it stops the effect. You're not making it bigger. It's not like any of the like yeah, yeah, I mean, it's a gimmick, definitely, and I think it has a use. I just especially if you need an early creature. I think if you need an early creature and start something to add, you know, counters to, or something to make something like if something has affinity for heroes or something, and then it can break board stalls a little bit, because you know you can get value out of your 1 mana that sat on the field for so long, and then you just attack as a 6/6. Sure, I don't think it's that good. Restorative Technique. 3 mana, target player gains 2 life, then searches their library for a basic land card, puts on the battlefield tap, then shuffles. Put a plus 1 counter up to 1 target creature. Okay. this reminds me of Scale the Heights. It's not the same thing because basically it's a rampant growth with for 1 more mana with the gain the 2 life that you get off this. You don't get to draw the card, but you get to specifically find a land, and instead of playing an additional land there. This reminds me very much of this card though, as sort of its slot. But it guarantees you the land drop as opposed to this, which does not. Trois. Thank you, Shiver. So yeah, this is in a set that cares about the +1/+1 counters, it definitely is more value. Obviously it's better early because it ramps you, but this one would also, because again, if you already had 2 lands in hand, you can play the extra land and do the thing and it draws a card. So late game it's better because you just draw a card rather than fetching up a land when you don't want more lands necessarily. But at 1 more mana for a rampant growth, a relevant +1/+1 counter, most likely, and the 2 life, this is probably fine. I think it's probably a C+. There's some decks which want it very heavily and might graduate to a B- in some decks, but on the whole, I think it's playable. All right, Rick Jones, Destined Sidekick. 1 mana, 03, 3 tap, mill 4 cards. You can put a hero or enchantment card from among those cards into your hand. That's good. But milling 4 cards mills you out real fast, as we know from Ashiok. So this seems fun. Yeah, I think this is I do think green is a little bit more aggressive than this. So I think this is probably a B-. But I think it's, it's a perfectly fine uncommon. Maybe it's a B. Maybe it's a B. Because it does break the stalls and you get to draw cards, and nobody wants to kill it on a 1 mana 03. It blocks early too. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a B. Savage Land Dino! Okay, 6 mana, 7/6 trample. Basic land cycling 2. Again, same thing with all the basic land. I won't go over it again, I'm sorry, so I won't bore you again. But same thing as all the other basic land cycles. Serpent Specialist. Wow, that's a face and a half. That's a face you look at and you're like, I'm gonna go the other way. Dang. Okay, 1 mana, 1/1 Death Touch, but we also get to the Snake Villain. This is a villain type. Power up 4 to 4, 2 +1, so it'd be a 3. Yeah, I mean, it's fine. It's a Death Toucher. It blocks early. It's a villain type that matters. Again, green always gets these 1 mana, 1/1 Death Touchers, or black. Those are the usual suspects for this. And they have utility blocking, but there's a lot of flyers in this set, so that is the one thing that I'm slightly concerned about as far as just like the things that normally would block. So like this Serpent Specialist and the black artifact dude, they're gonna be less good in this set, I feel, than they would normally be, just because there's so many flyers at uncommon. Some at common, but many at uncommon. And so these guys aren't gonna be blocking much, happily. So I'm not sure exactly how much I like this. But again, power up is relatively cheap. So yeah, seems fine. So, perfectly playable, C+. So yeah, it's a 1/1 for 1, or you can play it for 1 and then power it up for 3 more. On that, if you played it that same turn. Um, it's like exhaust, but it's cheaper if you do it the same turn it entered. Yeah, but it's cheaper by only the cost, so you're still paying the full power up cost. So basically, if you do it the same turn. So if you do green, right, you play it, and then you pay 3, it's going to be a 3/3 Death Toucher on that same turn. If you pay green on turn 1, and then later on turn 4, you have to pay 4. So, She-Hulk, Jade Defender, 4 mana, 4/4, reach, trample. Okay. Power up 6, destroy up to 1 target artifact or enchantment. That's key. I like this card. I think this is a B+. I really like this card. A 4 mana 4/4 reach trample is always, you know, really nice. We do have that from Ether Drift. I do forget what it was called. But it was 3 and a green. And it was a common ether. Whoop, nope, that's Ether Revolt. Hold on. Yellow. Yeah, Hazard of the Dunes. So this is a 4/4 trample reach, and then it has this exhaust, but 3 counters on it. But this one's actually really important because, right, 1+1/+1 counter. Obviously, that's way different than 3. But this destroy target artifact or enchantment is huge in this. It's very, very important, and there's relatively little that does that. That's unconditional, like non-creature, and the enchantment is really key as well because there's a lot of, you know, enchantment removal in the white and some in the blue. So, yeah, natural light does seem to matter quite a bit. So I really like this. Okay, super strength, 5 mana, enchant creature. Enchant creature gets +4/+4 and has trample and ward 1. Can you power up if you don't have an artifact or enchantment? It says up to 1. So you do not have to have a target to do that. But this makes the fact that this you know, this exists as well makes that like I should scroll on the other thing. It's just so much faster. Hold on. The fact that this exists makes the 3/6 even better. I know. Scraffall slow today. Maybe they're inputting new cards. Doc Samson, this thing. So this is better. Like, wait, no, not that one. The one that allows you to do the things twice. Where's the thing that allows you to do the things twice? It's in red. Okay. Wonder Man. Yeah. Wonder Man gets that much better there. Here, yeah. That thing might be a B+. I think I already gave it a B+ and possibly an A-. Okay, yeah, anyway. Okay. So yeah, super strength. Okay, so here's the thing. With auras, as has always been the case, in limited, it is very, for you to run an aura, the aura has to be very good. Because you are inviting the possible 2-for-1. So if you spend 5 mana and target a creature with this and they remove it in response with, say, this black spell here. Where's my 4 mana, dude? Hour of Defeat. Then you've lost your creature and your spell and the 5 mana for your turn. And that is a huge blowout. So auras better be unbelievable if you're going to run them, or very cheap. And just really good value for the mana that you spend on them. So and the removal here looks pretty good, like as far as just like the red removal at instant 2 does a lot of like 4 damage and so on and so forth. So there's a lot of things that give issues here. So they better be tapped out, right? Or whatever, right? So you have to be very careful running this. And at 5 mana, that is really brutal. There are some indestructible effects, definitely, right? So we have seen some indestructible. We've seen one here with the stolen Stark tech, and there's a few other things, but you have to be able to spend that in addition to the 5. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff that, you know, it's not going to be that good. I don't think. I think this card, you have to really time it well, so you can get away with it. If they're tapped out, you know, I think this is maybe a good finisher, and you have to be aware of it in the format. But yeah. It can make it really hard for a red creature, like red to destroy your creature. And again, you can get in for lethal, sure, but I think this is a very sketchy card. It's going to be difficult to time appropriately, and you might be dead in your hand for a while. I would give this a I think you might be able to run. I think it's a C+, but I normally I'd be very scared to run this card. I think it'd be like a C for me. But yeah. The Thing. Ben Grimm, 6 mana, 7. We're just power creeping the shit out of these. Trample. Whenever one or more heroes you control deal damage to a... Oh my god. Okay. I'm gonna give this a B just because it dies to a lot of the black removal, but it's good. It's very good. I mean, the thing is, it's very difficult these days to... You have to be careful justifying, like, 6 mana for anything, just because the removal has gotten so cheap, but, yeah. I do think this is going to be best in green-white, just because there's a lot of white heroes that are going to be... If you play this on a turn and then just swing with a bunch of your heroes, this thing is going to get freaking enormous. But yeah. It also gets counters for free essentially. Like, obviously you have to swing, but that can enable a bunch of other things. But yeah, 6 mana, 7/7 trample. There you go. They can get bigger. It just keeps hitting. Yeah, I mean, it keeps hitting. Yeah, that's the thing. A fling type effect. No, not yet. You can punch creatures, but not fling. All 4 of them go infinite together. Yes, yes. All right. Tigra, Feline Fury. Cat Human Hero, 2 mana, 2/1 flash trample when you regain... Here's the gain life synergy. Okay. So this is a Johnny's Pride Mate. But it has trample. So we've got a Johnny's Pride Mate here. Whenever you gain life, put a +1 on counter this creature for 2 mana, 2/2. Here it's a 2 mana, 2/1, but it has flash and frickin' trample. This is one reason to put the this on the food token instead of the treasure token. It is also, there's a couple other things where we've seen some incidental life gain. This, you know, the restorative technique gets much better with this. I really still don't like Rapid Rescue, even though it does gain 2 life. So there aren't that many, you know, that gain life. There's some life link, but like, yeah. But I really like this card anyway. The flash and the trample is nice. The put +1 counter on it. We can put other counters on it. We can pump it some other way. And there's some incidental life gain that I like. So I'm gonna give this a B. I think it's fine. For that, it's like it's a fun card. Training. Okay, here's the plan. No, not a plan. Not a plan. Not a plan. Creatures you control with +1/+1 counters on them have trample. And at the beginning of combat on your turn, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Okay. The trample is key for the creatures with +1/+1 counter. That's nice. As far as the other thing, it is kind of doing the Quandrix additive blah. What is it? Additive blah? I can type. Evolution thing where it puts a +1/+1 counter target creature you control. The vigilance mattered here, and the fact that this put a creature into play really also mattered, This is 1 mana cheaper, and it does give trample, which does really matter, because with this card you always really wanted the Emil that gave creatures with +1/+1 counters trample, but the fact that this doesn't do anything the turn it comes into play unless you have already a creature in play, and it's only one +1/+1 counter is a little bit wonky, but it's not awful. There's a lot of things with +1/+1 counters, so this can in fact just end the game. If you have a bunch of creatures on the battlefield with a, you know, +1/+1 counters, then you're just like suddenly your opponent can't chump and they're, you know, it still seems fine. I'm gonna give it a B. Like, I think the first of them is probably a B. The second is probably a C+. Maybe they get better than all. Still, because you don't want to get it without as many creatures on the board. I don't know. And your creatures all have to, like, if you already have the +1/+1 counter synergies, then it's okay. Maybe it's okay. Maybe it's better than I think. I'm gonna give it a B for now. Undercover Scroll. 2 mana, 1/1. As long as there are 2 or more creature cards in your graveyard, it gets +2/+2 and is all creature types. I don't care about that. I care about the add 1 mana of any color. I like anything that is is adding mana in the green right now. I think that's really important. It is a villain apparently, but okay. Yeah, but 3/3 all creature types is interesting too. No, it's not going to be hard, but I don't care about this being a 3/3. I care more about this 1 mana of any color. I think that's really important here. I also think that something like this is going to be enabling the people to try to get all 4 Fantastic Four cards and trying to get that to go. That would be interesting. So yeah. I do like this card. I think I like anything that's going to be ramping green. I'm going to give it a B-. Wakandan Royal Guard. 5 mana, 4/4 vigilance. When it enters, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. If that creature is another hero, put 2 +1/+1 counters on it instead. So you can either get a 5 mana, 5/5 vigilance, or you can get the +1/+1 counter synergy on something else. Maybe 2 counters, so it might be 6 power overall that you could get. Yeah, fine. C+, perfectly playable. White Tiger, Ava Ayala. Oh yeah, I mean, it's gonna be fun, Charbles. It's gonna be really fun. I'm very excited. We got a 2 mana 2/2 power up 6. But if someone counter on White Tiger and create the Tiger God, whoa, a legendary 4/4 green cat god creature with Tiger God can't be blocked by more than 1 creature. Yeah, that's a fine 2-drop. I like it. White Tiger on a green card is weird. Well, all the cats have been green, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's a fine 2-drop, absolutely. I'm going to give it a B. It's very good. I don't think it's going to be, yeah. It's just really nice. It's good value. Okay, now we're in the gold. Okay. Captain America. Living Legend. Strap in, this is where it gets nuts. Oh boy. All right. I'm ready for the gold. Oop, I got a notification, sorry. Okay, we're good. Okay, so this is a 3 mana 3/4 vigilance already, which is dumb. Because then it also has another line of text. Whenever a creature you control becomes tapped during your turn, if it's the first time that creature has become tapped this turn, untap it, which means that every creature that you control has Ursat's Vigilance. meaning once they tap to attack, they untap. That also means that the teamwork spells, right? If that's the first time you're tapping those creatures, they untap after the teamwork. That also means that this can tap twice. That's a gross card. And it can't even be goddamn killed by the lightning strike. And anything with a tap ability, you can use it twice. Oh, gross. Ugh. All right. So the thing is, it is 2 colors. It's a commitment to 2 colors, and if you're going to first pick it, I do think it's an A-. But again, it's a commitment to 2 colors, so if you're already in white, blue, great, fantastic, slam that freaking thing. That's like a ridiculous card. But I do think it is A- as a first pick. You don't know whether white, blue is going to be open. It's gross, though. That's all I gotta say. Spider-Woman Secret Agent. It's a 4 mana, but hybrid mana. 1/4. Flash. When it enters tap target creature an opponent controls, that creature can't become untapped for as long as you control Spider-Woman. Okay, we had a creature like this prior. We've had several creatures like this prior. Yeah, Ty Lee is one. We've also had like that was the rare Ty Lee. Then we also had other things like the flyer from Ixalan that made something into a treasure, as long as it was on the battlefield. It was a 2/3 flyer, I think. Yeah, Larcenist, that's the one. So we've had versions of those. They're usually at rare. This is 4 mana, but it does have flash and it blocks really well. The fact that you can, yeah, this is a very good card, and the fact that it can be either blue or white is pretty sweet. I do think this is a B+. I think it's a really good card. It does die to not lightning strike either. But there's a bunch of 4 burn in red. So, and of course the black can take care of it. Yeah. Okay. Ghost, Spectral Saboteur. 2 and a blue or black. 2/2 flash, can't be blocked. But that dies to lightning strike, so yay! Yes, there are multiple deal 4. They're in red especially. Obviously there's punch and fight in green. Obviously -4/-4 for Dark Deed, and destroy things with the Troll Alliance, and destroy target creature for than that. And then in red we have the Hawkeye plus any like 2 damage or things. But we also have, and then the punch here off the Hulk Smash, and then we have the obviously Lightning Strike's just the 3. But we do have Repulsor Blast to 5 for 4 mana, and then we have 4 damage to any target on the Truck Toss. Punch is just the creature deals damage equal to its power to another creature without fighting, without having that creature deal damage back. But yeah. Okay. At least this can be killed by the lightning strike, but it is a villain. 2/2 flash can't be blocked. So, I'm actually not as impressed with this as I am either of these 2 cards. This one I think is a B minus. It's still a fine card, but it's not as exciting. Kang, Temporal Tyrant. 4 mana, 3/4 when attacks connives. Okay. You draw your second card each turn. Okay, so this is the draw to signpost. So you're definitely going, every time it attacks, it's going to be either getting bigger or at least draining the opponent for 1 and you gain 1 life. It is still only a 3/4 on start, so the 4/5 attacks potentially if you discarded an actual non-land card. I'm gonna give this a B/B plus. Seems fine. Bullseye. I don't like this person. I just learned that this person killed Elektra. Did Elektra come back? Does death still mean nothing in comics? Elektra did come back. God damn it. Okay. Well, then I don't hate this person anymore. I hate that death means nothing in comics. I hate it. It loses all the humanity of the thing. Yeah. Only Uncle Ben stays dead. Oh god. He's still okay. So I still hate. Okay. 3 mana, 2/3. When it enters, you can sacrifice an artifact or discard a non-land card. Again, so this is another thing you can do with a steal. If you can steal an artifact and then sacrifice it here. When you do, it deals 2 damage to any target. 3 tap, sacrifice an artifact or discard a non-land card, deals 2 damage to any target. Yeah, that's powerful. I'm gonna give it a B. Could be B plus actually, though. The idea that you can sacrifice an artifact or discard to deal 2, that's pretty crazy. Who's throwing at him and missing is the question. Like, there's a bullseye behind him, but somebody's throwing and he's throwing. I don't understand the artwork, but okay. Yeah, seems fine. I do worry that, like, the discard a card, being able to deal 2 damage to any target is pretty sweet. For this last one to break board stalls. Yeah, but no, but the art's weird just because, like, if he's the one throwing the card, it's behind him and, oh, okay. But yeah, it's fine. I think it's probably B/B plus. Madam Hydra. 4 mana, 2/3. When you cast a villain spell, create a yeah, that's powerful. Probably a B plus. I think it's probably most of these are gonna be in the B plus or B range. But we've had a couple A minus. Yeah. I think I'm still there. I'll just point out the ones that I think are A minus as opposed to B or B pluses. I think most of them are B pluses at the very least, so we're going to point out the A minuses. This is an A minus. Yeah, that's definitely an A minus. Vanguard, 4 mana, 4/4. Whenever a non-token hero blah, choose one. Yeah, I think that's an A minus. Spider-Man to the rescue! 3/2. Flash, Vigilance, Reach. When it enters, you can tap, and when you do, another target non-attacking... What? Non-attacking creature gains indestructible. Okay, so it's a protect... one creature. You best on blocks. But then it's getting in as a 3/2 Vigilance Reach. Okay. Yeah, this one's probably a... It's decent. I think it's a B. The chances of B plus, but I think it's a B. Black Widow Double Agent, 3/2 Death Touch. Whenever a creature you control attacks alone. I hate this alone shit. I hate it. Um, First Strike and Menace is nice though. Through 2 Death Strokes for 3. Yeah, it's B. U.S. Agent John Walker. 4 mana, 3/2. When enters created colorless blah called Sturdy Shield with equipped creature gets +1/+2 and equip 2. Attach it to this. So it's a 4 mana 4/4 that you can also re-equip. Okay. That's good. That's good. I like that. Was that the discount Captain America? Yeah. It's called a hero here, though. Yeah, leaving it upon equipment is very solid. I still think I want to give it a B as opposed to a B+. All right, Iron Man, Master of Machines, 4 mana, 1/4 flying, vigilance gets +1/+1 artifact, other artifacts you control when attacks. If an artifact, shit, that's a B+. That might even be an A-. It comes down 1 turn, but all the 4/4s. Hmm. Are these all different iterations of the Iron Man suit? Because they all have slight variations in their faceplate and or overall coloring. Interesting. Or bots. Okay, I got it. Yeah, I think it's a B+. Speedball New Warrior has a cat. All right. Look at that face. Okay. 3 mana 2/2. Whenever a player casts a spell that targets Speedball, he gets +2/+2 until end of turn. You can choose to do targets for that spell. Oh. So you could target this with the +3/+1 to give it +2/+2 and then retarget the 3/+1 to a different creature. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I kind of like that. But also, if they try to kill it, like with a lightning strike, first off, it's just going to get +2/+2, so it's not going to matter, but you can also lightning strike their face instead. That is pretty interesting. I don't know how. I think this looks like so much fun to play. This looks like so much fun to play. I think this card is designed beautifully. I freaking love this card. I think this is wondrous. Fantastically well done. That is just cool. I think oh god, I think I want to put this as an A-. I really like this. I'm probably overvaluing it. I am probably, but it's so cool. This is why the Black Instant Death Touch exists. Yeah, the -2/-2 slash Death Touch blah. But you can choose to target for it. I think that I really like this card. I really, however good it is, I just think it's so much fun. God damn. Well done to that designer of this freaking card. I gotta ask Melissa if she played a role. That is really cool. I like this card. Okay, sorry. This is so cool. All right, Killmonger. Here we go. 4 mana, 3/3. When it enters, you can sacrifice another creature. When you do, destroy target non-land permanent an opponent controls. Okay, so you can destroy enchantments and blah, blah, blah. That's a very good ability. So it reminds me of the spider. Oh, God. So black, green. 2 black, green. Uncommon. Yeah, Skyfisher Spider. So when it enters the battlefield, you can sacrifice another creature. When you do, destroy target non-land permanents. So that was just really nice. Yeah. Now this is another, so if you went Jund, you could actually, here's one of the sacrifices when it comes into play. So you could actually run the red steal spell and then kill the creature. The Evil's Thrall. As long as there's 2 more, it's a 5/4. Yeah, it's a really good card. I like this card. I think it's a B+. Titania, Rugged Rumbler, 3 mana. What? Oh, I see. Yes, this is an ability, not a spell. So this would absolutely kill Speedball. Yeah. That artwork is stunningly well done too. Well, Sean Vo is awesome, apparently. I don't know that artist. I've never seen it before, but it's so sweet. Titania, Rugged Rumbler, 3 mana, 5/5. As an additional cost to cast the spell, discard a card or pay 2. That's the oh God. The 2 mana, 5 thing, advanced. It was a 5/4. I don't remember what set it was from. I don't know why I'm free. I think it was, no, it was Strixhaven. It was Strixhaven. That's what it was. The original Strixhaven. Groff. Bayou Groff? Yeah, Bayou Groff. So this is sort of similar to in principle to the Bayou Groff. 2 mana. As an initial cost, either sacrifice a creature or pay 3. In this case, it's either discard a card or pay 2 for a 5/5 on 3. It has Ward, discard a card or pay 2. That's pretty sweet. And the cool thing about this is that we do have a couple of ways to benefit from discarding cards and having, obviously, in black likes having, and green apparently, both like having 2 creatures in the graveyard. So that's an easy way to get a creature in the graveyard sooner than usual. But this also, if you're playing with the red, right, you can draw a card for each card you've discarded this turn. So that's kind of a cool thing to be able to do there, is draw 2 cards if you're discarding there. I still think this is a B, but I do think this is a cool one. But getting a 5/5 on 3 by just discarding a card is not so bad. It's an additional cost, so if they counter it, that's really bad. And there is a quench in the format, so you have to be a little bit careful. The blue has a quench. Where'd it go? I hate the quenches in the format. I don't like playing around it. It's this thing. So counter target spell is discard electrolyte pays 2. That's really rough if you've already discarded the card and you still don't get this card. So again, I think it's a B, but yeah, could be cool. All right, we got Thor, Odinson, 3 and Boros, Flying Vigilance Prowess. Okay. So it's not the prowess colors, in case people were forgetting that. It is, in fact, Boros right now that is the prowess colors. So this is a fine card. The prowess could really end games fast, depending on what you're doing. So this one is still a B+. I think it's not an A-, but it is very good. I just picture somebody going that. So the 5-drop here into the double strike trample here. It's toward the end, right? The team tactics, yeah. Double strike until end of turn. Just passes to the boss, so it'd be like a 6 power double striker trample flying vigilance. Anyway, War Machine, Legacy of Iron. 3 mana, 1/3 flyer. At the beginning of combat on your turn, another target creature you control gets +1 X+0 until end of turn, where X is War Machine's power. Yeah, that can be pretty good. I think it's still a B. It's good. It's quite good, but I think it's still a B. Ant-Man, Colony Commander. 3 mana, Simic, 2/2, when it attacks, you can pay 1. When you do put a +1 counter on target creature, that's crazy. And whenever you put a +1 create a 1/1. Okay, only triggers each turn. This is crazy. That's a good one. The +1/+1 counters are, yeah, a definite thing. I think I'm probably putting this as a B+. I really like this. Where's your card? Beast, Erudite Aerialist. 4 mana, 3/3, but it can be either of the Simic colors. As long as you put one or more +1/+1 against flying. When it deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Not bad. But it is only 1 mana before all the 4/4s come down. And it's still a hill giant otherwise. I think this one is a B/B-. If you can guarantee the +1/+1 counter is great, but this one's gonna be... This one's a little rough. All right. Synthoids. 2 mana, 1/2. When it enters Surveil 2. This is at least an early artifact and an early villain that Surveils 2 might put 2 creatures in your graveyard for whatever it is you need to do, or at least fix your draws, which I think is actually really important. And it goes in any deck. So best of 1 in Arena, you're actually probably going to run one of these if you get it. And you have a villain synergy deck or an artifact synergy deck. Because basically it's it's an Omen Speaker, right? It enters the battlefield, scry 2, and in this case it's Surveil 2, which is often better because we have a lot of graveyard synergies in this. So I actually do like these. But they fulfill that role. So I'm probably gonna put these as a, in an artifact or a villain deck. I'm probably gonna put these in best of 1 on Arena, like a B-. They're actually, might be a priority a little bit to get 1. But yeah, that's an interesting one. Even if I'm not in villains, I might actually run this just to get that Surveil 2 and have an early blocker, because this blocks most of the things that I've seen early, and you do probably want to get that out. Okay, but yeah, that's and fix your draws. That's pretty sweet. And fill your graveyard. There's a lot of synergies with this one. I do like this card. All right, Dependable Quinjet. 3 mana, 3/3 fly. Okay, here's a common vehicle for our red burn spell, the Truck Toss. 2 less to cast if you control a vehicle, although you're not throwing the vehicle at them because you're not having to sacrifice it. So 4 damage to any target. That's a common vehicle. Let's see, 3 mana, 3/3 flying, add 1 mana. So it's a mana rock that cruise 4. Well, that's not so bad if you have Captain America. Stupid card. Yeah, I mean, I think if you need the fixing, I think it's fine. If you need the vehicle, I think it's fine. It has some upside. I'm not super excited about it. I still am gonna give it a C+. I think it's playable 1 copy maybe if you need it. Yeah. Herbie, Scout Units, 4 mana, 2/1 flyer. When it enters, draw a card. Then you can put a land card from your hand on the battlefield tapped. Okay, I'd rather this cost 3 and was like a 1/1 and did that. But it does draw you a card. So 4 mana, 2/1 flyer that draws you a card is an artifact for those synergies. It's not a villain or a hero, so it doesn't have those creature types. Land card from the battle. If you need it. I think it's a C+. Shield Helicarrier. 4 mana, 4/5 flying. When it enters, create 2/1/1. Crew 6! God damn. It does create 2/1/1s, but it doesn't crew itself. So we've had various things in like the past where, so let's go EOE. Was it, no, wait, hold on. No, I think we better illustration by was it Bro? No, it was Ether Drift. Okay. So like Broadcast Rambler. This was a 5 mana 5/4, but it crewed for freaking 1 and it made the thing that crewed it. Like, that's way better. Even though this doesn't fly, or does this fly? Yeah, even though it doesn't fly, it's still rough. Like, it gives you 2 out of the 6, but you need 4 more. I don't know about this. Why is it uncommon? What am I missing, chat? I mean, 4/5 does block like a million of the uncommon flyers in this. So there are 4/4s. So there are a million 4/4 flyers at uncommon. So Captain Marvel. We've got hold on, sorry, we gotta go through these. We've got a 3/4 here that, you know, makes another pooper. We've got the Flying Ant. We've got Wiccan. We've got there were several others. Obviously like Human Torch here and blah blah blah. We've got the other 4/4 down here, Wonder Man. Like, we've got so many 4/4 flyers that this will block, but like 6. I must be missing something. I must be missing something because this thing is freaking unplayable to me. I'm gonna call it unplayable, and I fully acknowledge that I must have missed something. Ultron Drone, 3 mana 2/3 power up, put 2/+1 counters and create a 2/2. Okay. I mean, it's fine if you need it. I think it's a C+. I think it might be playable in certain decks. Vibranium Energy Daggers, 1 mana indestructible +2/+2. So the creature doesn't get it indestructible, the equipment does. But it's equipped 3. The only thing I can think of where this is really quite playable is in a equipment specific deck. Like, they're in black. We had 3 creatures that really cared about equipment, and like that is the only deck in which I can see running this. So we had Swordsman here. We had Ronin. We had there's one more, this one, Whiplash. So that's the only time I can see myself playing this card, really, and being happy about it. Like, I couldn't see playing it because +2/+2 is a thing. If this is indestructible, it's not going away, and at least you're never going to get blown out by somebody like destroying your equipment when you attack with a creature, and then your creature gets tiny, right? So yeah, there are times where I can see this being hi DMAC. I think this is probably mostly unplayable, but that's the only time I could see playing it. Viv Vision Teen Synthesoid, 3 mana 2/2 flyer, robot hero. Whenever it attacks, draw a card if powers 4 or greater. And you can power up, but this is a great thing to wear counters on, and it is an artifact for synergies. So I do think this is a B minus slash B. All right, now we're on the lands. This is fixing, it's the same thing, so it's reprints of the original cons, thingies, so these were originally printed in, cons block. We have down here, cons. And they're good fixers and they gain life. That is actually interesting too. The gaining life, here's some extra gain life synergies that we have for our little Leonin Deuter lady, Tigra. So incidental life gain again there was pretty sweet. That makes her a little bit better. But again, you're just going to run these in the same situations that you would the cons lands. Avengers Tower, add 1 mana of any color to cast a hero spell or activate an ability of a hero source. You can pay 4 and look at the top 3 cards, reveal a hero, and put it... Okay, that's a really good way to get value in a hero deck. You're going to want to be in the hero deck first before you take this, I'm pretty sure. But it's fun for that final Fantastic Four... Fantastic Four deck. If you're going to make it, you're going to need some of these. It's not legendary, so apparently we can have more than one Avengers Tower. But it is some decent value for a hero deck. But I'm gonna give it a B minus. I think if you're in a hero deck, it comes up to a B minus slash B. But like it's completely unplayable if you're not in a heavy heroes deck. They get blown up every other week. Yeah, Baxter Building. Okay. I completely went to Ninja Turtles on that one, but okay. Add 4 mana in any combination of colors. Okay, so it's a fixing there for the Fantastic Four. 4, draw a card, activate only if you control a creature with toughness 4 or greater. Okay, so it's not Bonder's whatever. Enclave, right? Which is 3 to do the same thing instead of 4. But it does do a lot of fixing for 4 mana in any combinations of colors filtered. Is pretty sweet if you're going multiple colors. So again, it's going to be, once you've already figured out that you're doing that, you can grab some of these. But as part, like, same thing with like this one's more likely because heroes are far more prevalent, but in particular, like going 4 or 5 colors is going to be less crazy. Again, same thing with the lands. Surveillance room. Okay, surveil 1, and then you can filter. So this is the same as the hideout or whatever it is that we had before. Was it hideout or something else? No, it wasn't that. It was the one I remember most recently was the Avatar one. All right, so I want the final ones and I want the land. Oh, it's alphabetical here. I want by color. I got final. What was it called? Rumble Arena? Yeah. Of course, this had vigilance because it could be turned into a creature, but yeah, Rumble Arena was what I'm thinking of. When it enters Scry 1, you can add the colorless or you can filter. So this is Surveil 1 and then do the things and you can filter. So oftentimes if you need, extra colors, this is pretty sweet. And the Surveil does matter because we do have the graveyard synergies. So you may pick these up to thing, but it'll be pretty late that you do, potentially. Villainous Hide. Oh, so this is the villain one version. Okay, I like that they had that too. Connives activate only as a sorcery. That's really good for triggering the draw 2 per turn. That's fine. Yeah, this one doesn't have vigilance. Okay. Yeah, so again, same situation with the hero deck. You're gonna want to follow the same principles with the Villainous Hideout. Okay, so now we're getting that's every common and uncommon in the set for the limited pre-release that you're going to, as well as of course our early access tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern, starting at 1 p.m. Eastern. So that's everything there. So the rares and mythics these days, most frequently, all you're looking at is which one's better than the other, as opposed to, do I take this or do I not take this? Obviously, there's some unplayables, like the steal all opponents' artifacts thing, the red one in Turtles. So if we add the rares and mythics back and do this and sort by the number here, this is so we can start doing these. I'm not sure I have enough voice for all of them right now. I'll probably do it later on tonight. But usually you're just going to want to take the rares. They're just crazy. But unfortunately, because of play boosters, the question is which one's better than the other to take right away. And sometimes that's pretty obvious, but sometimes it's not. And that's why we'll go through these. You're going to see fewer of them, obviously, in your play booster. Sorry, in your boosters than you will the commons and uncommons. And that's why we prioritize the commons and uncommons. So hopefully that was really, really helpful for the future there. I didn't see a lot of completely unplayable cards. As usual with limited these days, there's a lot of cards that just do the thing. All you have to do is play card, not, consider synergies necessarily. Because there's some just crazy cards that just sit down and they have so much value. So a lot of it was in the B plus range, which is a lot more than normal because there was a lot of uncommons that really mattered. So I think the removal is going to be so premium in this, based on what I've seen. I haven't seen enough removal to be super comfortable with the set, but we'll see how it actually works out. Like in white, I'm a little bit worried about the removal. There's the banishing light, but so hey Floof, what you doing? Okay. But yeah, so I think I need to eat something before I do this. So maybe we'll just come back tonight and do the rest of these. That's probably correct. I don't want to lose my voice completely for the early access tomorrow. Kids of the 2030s won't be able to understand how hard we had it. But I do want to leave you with this. If you go and watch Saffron Olive on MTG Goldfish on YouTube, opening $2,500 worth of collector booster boxes of Marvel superheroes, you will see him open this card, Agent Phil Coulson. And you will hear him call it Agent Phil Collins, and then in all seriousness wonder whether Stan Lee was a fan. And I was rolling, because so if you are unfamiliar with Saffron Olive, first off, you should get familiar. Super amazing person, and hilarious and wonderful, but also reads really funnily, like really, really funny, and often mispronounces names and or just reads the card completely wrong. Read this as Agent Phil Collins and was definitely thinking that Stanley might be a fan of the musician. So, and just did it the entire time. It was so good. So yes, and if you want to amuse yourself, definitely take a look at that. This card does look stupid. But yeah. The Saffron Olive versus Jim Davis pronunciation challenge. That's so great. Now I'm not immune to this myself, right? We had to go look up Icor the other day because I always get that wrong because I always think it's the one that I'm not thinking it is. But yeah, and also in the past I've pronounced Megalodon. I used to pronounce it Megalodon because the roots would suggest that it was pronounced that way, but it's not. So I'm not pooping on completely on somebody, but he does it all the time. His pronunciations are hilarious. They're part of the draw, not a they're a feature, not a bug. So it's definitely awesome. But I would love Evan Self. I would pay to see that. So, but yeah, we'll be back tonight to do some review of the rares, and we'll definitely do more Ooh, that's pretty. We'll definitely do more review of the of the draft. Some of the artwork in this set I'm not sent by overall. And I will admit that this isn't one of the universes beyond that I'm super happy about including in Magic, just because it's it doesn't, the fantasy element seems less there, even though it is, you know, superheroes, right? There's huge fantasy element in that. But the for me, it doesn't fit into Magic quite as well as like Lord of the Rings did in there. So, you know, it's just the way it is. Sometimes that's the way it goes. You don't always get the stuffs. But yeah. So, let's go raid somebody awesome, and I'll rest my voice for a while, and we'll do this tonight, and then do a bunch of drafts before the thing tomorrow. So, yeah. Oh yeah. So, whom would we like to raid? Let me see who's online and go from there. Floridaman's online, Raph Levy's online, Amazonian's online, and Nuat the Nummy is online, as well as Yellow Hat, which is Gabe Nassif. Oh, you're welcome, Travels. Yeah, if you missed a moment and you want to like know my thoughts on anything, and chat's giving great stuff as well. Here's the YouTube. The VOD will be up almost immediately. And you can go and see that. If you have any questions, obviously you can join the Discord, which Summer Gabe's there. Thank you. Yeah, just, you know, if you have any questions, let me know. And otherwise you can visit the YouTube and see any of the moments you missed. I know these are really long, but I like going back and seeing, you know, the ties to older cards and thinking about the synergies here. The commons and uncommons from earlier will get better and worse based on like once we finally finished it. So, you know, if I were to go back, I might reevaluate some of the cards, but that is there. But yeah, Amazonian is on. Yes. So Floridaman's doing powered cubes. Amazonian is doing Brawl. I think, yes, Brawl. Raph Levy is doing powered cube. Numat is doing powered cube. So, does anybody have any preference on whom to raid? If so, we will do that. Just let me know. Whichever you prefer. Okay, Raph sounds great. Raph has fewer viewers, so I want to send you over there and make somebody's day, because you're all amazing. All right, we're gonna start that raid. So, yeah, hopefully I'll see you again soon tonight for the rares and mythics. Again, the rares and mythics, like I said, they matter a little bit less than the uncommons and commons, just because you see more uncommons and commons in your pre-release, so we really want to prepare you for that. And the rares are often just slam it, whatever you know, whichever one looks better. Yeah, so there's not too much going on in that, so that's what we'll be doing tonight, and we'll just make sure we get a lot of drafts in after that, so that'll be sweet. You too, take care, gamer! And check out the sponsors you get a chance, Fractal and Magic Jank and Rogue. DMAC! So yes. So yeah, I can't wait to see you again. I hope you have the most wonderful morning, noon, night, afternoon tea, second breakfast, whatever time it is for you. And yeah, really, really excited to see you all. And I hope you find your favorite streamers on the early access, and it's gonna be great. So okay. All right. Cheerios. Mwah! Rating now. Here we go.